Chapter 2341. Are you trying to outnumber us? The dark red divine dragon was furious. It opened its mouth and spat out formations one after another. Buzz. Terrifying sword chi surged into the sky. Endless fireballs, frost, and lightning danced in the air. In an instant, hundreds of martial artists were enveloped and screamed in pain. How could one not prepare a few more formations when traveling in the martial world? The dark red divine dragon carried a powerful killing array with it at all times in case of an emergency. Now was the time to use them. Elder, make your move. At this moment, many people on the Teng family's spirit boat shouted angrily. At this moment, an old figure stood up. His face had turned into orange peel, and he looked very old. He looked like a skeleton. With every step he took, he would sway as if he would be blown away by the wind at any time. At this moment, everyone looked at him with respect. This was because he was an extremely ancient elder who was very terrifying. He had lived for about 3,000 years and was almost a living fossil. At that moment, he looked ahead and frowned. His sunken eyes shone with a sharp light, like two divine lamps. If we don't get rid of this kid, the Teng family won't be at ease, the elder said coldly. Following that, the aura on his body suddenly erupted as if a peerless demon king had awakened. Buzz. He waved his sleeve, and a snake's skin flew out. It turned into a mountain and pressed forward. Seeing this, many people exclaimed again and retreated. They did not dare to fight Lin Xian in close combat anymore because the void around Lin Xian shattered again. The powerful pressure made their hearts tremble. It was the Teng Serpent King's skin. It was estimated to be at least 5,000 years old. This was a great weapon of mass destruction. It contained lethal poison. Even a peerless almighty being would not be able to withstand it. Hearing this, many people hurriedly emitted light and retreated. What a joke! They did not dare to touch such a terrifying poison. Lin Xian raised his head and looked at the Vine King Serpent that was rapidly descending from the sky. He did not dodge. Instead, he waited quietly. When it was only 100 meters away from him, he made his move. The ancient dragon abyss sword slashed forward. You're overestimating yourself. Go to hell. The elder from the Teng family shouted coldly. His eyes were full of mockery. He did not expect the other party to be so arrogant. Instead of dodging, he directly resisted the Vine King Serpent. Wasn't this courting death? Could it be that the other party thought he could destroy the snakeskin? One had to know that this was left behind by a 5,000-year-old peerless great demon. Back then, the Teng Serpent King had almost stepped into the realm of an invincible demon king. Although it failed in the end, its skin was extremely tough. Perhaps even a peerless almighty would not be able to break it. His opponent was just a brat, yet he dared to be so arrogant as to resist his treasure head-on? He was simply courting death. Boom, boom. In the sky, snakeskin mercilessly descended. On it, streaks of light flickered, and a purple demonic aura emanated from it. It was an extremely terrifying poison, and a single drop was enough to kill a powerful being. If one was wrapped in the soaring Serpent King's skin, anyone below the level of king would die without a doubt. However, what happened this time far exceeded everyone's expectations. The ancient dragon abyss sword in Lin Xian's hand emitted a biting cold sword light. The terrifying sword chi soared into the sky. It made one's heart tremble. Then, the dragon source ancient sword slashed down on the snakeskin. The soaring Serpent King's demonic aura surrounded it as it tried to corrode the other party's treasure sword. However, the sword chi on the ancient sword was extremely cold. In an instant, the purple poisonous aura was completely destroyed. What? How can the poisonous aura be destroyed? That treasure sword is fine. How is this possible? What kind of treasure sword is that? Even a top-grade treasure weapon can't resist the corrosion of this poison. These people were stunned. The Teng family's martial artists were even more terrified. The elder also frowned. There was something wrong with that treasure sword. In an instant he saw the crux of the problem. Snatch his treasure sword. It's a supreme treasure sword. The Teng family's elders shouted angrily. Hearing this, many people's eyes lit up. The Teng family's martial artists moved out together. Now that the Teng family's ancient sword was blocked by the soaring Serpent King, the other party's strength should be greatly reduced. As long as they killed the other party, the ancient sword would be theirs. At this moment, not only the Teng family, but the Tai dynasty, the governor's residence, and the surrounding families also moved out. Naturally, they could tell that the ancient sword was definitely powerful. It had probably surpassed an Earth-grade treasure sword. In an instant, 3,000 experts came around Lin Xian. Terrifying light divine arts rained down on Lin Xian. They wanted to shatter Lin Xian. Go to hell, brat. These people sneered sinisterly. A bunch of ants, how dare you have designs on my treasure sword? Lin Xian snorted coldly. Then, the goddess of ice on his body quickly flapped its wings. A terrifying power of ice instantly surged out. 3,000 experts were frozen in an instant. Lin Xian snorted coldly and threw out a punch, shattering those ice cubes quickly. 3,000 powerhouses were torn apart. Swoosh. Seeing this scene, the cultivators who wanted to charge forward stopped in their tracks. Their faces were filled with horror. Damn it, what's going on? He's still so powerful without the treasure sword. They realized that they were wrong. The other party's strength didn't just rely on the terrifying treasure sword. Retreat. Many people felt that something was wrong and frantically retreated. Lin Xian sneered. Don't you think it's too late to leave now? He flicked his finger, and a dragon-shaped sword wave spread out in all directions with him as the center. The sword wave was too sharp. It carried the power of the great dragon sword soul and was incomparably sharp. The void shattered in an instant, and those martial artists were instantly affected. They were split in half and fell from the sky. In an instant, more than 8,000 martial artists were killed. Old man, it's your turn now. After dealing with those people around him, Lin Xian looked at the skinny old man in the distance again. He could be considered a living fossil. He was more than 3,000 years old. Whether it was his combat experience or combat awareness, he was very terrifying. How could such a person not be angry when he was looked down upon by a brat? Of course, the anger of a living fossil was different from the anger of an ordinary person. He wouldn't rush forward impulsively. He wanted to analyze the other party's weakness and take a targeted killing move. The living fossil of the Teng family snorted and waved the snake-headed walking stick in his hand. Instantly, the Rattan King snake in the sky bloomed with light and emitted a terrifying aura. The snakeskin seemed to have come alive and instantly enveloped the ancient dragon abyss sword, completely binding it. Buzz, buzz, buzz. The ancient sword was bound in the sky and left Lin Xian's hand. Seeing this scene, everyone laughed crazily. Haha, great Brett. Let's see what else you can do without the treasure sword. Kneel and wait for your death. How dare you fight against the living fossil of the Teng family? You're courting death. Chapter 2342. How dare you fight against the Teng family's living fossil? You're courting death. The Teng family's martial artists sneered. General Xianying and the others also snorted when they saw this. The corners of their mouths curled up into a sneer. It seemed that joining forces with the 9 Li dynasty's experts and clans was the right choice. However, the other party was too arrogant. Not long after coming to the 9 Li dynasty, he offended countless big clans. This time, he was definitely dead. Looking at the bound ancient dragon abyss sword above, Lin Xian was not anxious or angry. This was because he knew that the ancient dragon abyss sword was a heaven-grade treasure sword. Its power was beyond their imagination. No matter how powerful the Teng King snake skin was, it could not damage the ancient dragon source sword. Therefore, he was not in a hurry to retrieve the sword. He decided to play with these people. Don't these people think that I'm only relying on the treasure sword? Fine, I'll kill them with my bare hands. I'll let them know my true strength. Idiots. On the other side, the dark red divine dragon looked over while fighting and snorted in disdain. He knew about Lin Xian's strength. How dare these people look down on him? They must be courting death. Sure enough, in the next moment, those people screamed. This was because Lin Xian did not snatch the ancient dragon abyss sword. Instead, he charged forward. His target was the Tung family's spirit boat. Courting death. Seeing that the other party was charging directly at them, the martial artists on the spirit boat were all furious. The illusory Tang snake behind them quickly soared into the sky, baring its fangs and brandishing its claws as it charged forward. Bang bang. In an instant, the void in front of them exploded. However, it was useless. Lin Xian waved his hand, grabbed the illusory figures, and rubbed them with force. Boom. The terrifying illusory Tang snake was directly torn into two. This scene was too terrifying. It was too shocking. Those who were torn into pieces vomited blood crazily. Many of them directly split open. I'm dead meat? I'm only relying on the treasure sword? Lin Xian sneered. As he spoke, he opened and closed his fists, bombarding the surroundings. At this moment he had already charged onto the spirit boat and was surrounded by the Tung family's martial artists. Everything that was hit by the fist was smashed apart and turned into a bloody mist. At the spur of the moment, hundreds of Tung family's martial artists were killed. Damn it, kill him. I must kill him. The eyes of the Tang clan's warriors turned red while the living fossil snorted coldly. Who would have thought that the other party would still be so domineering even without a sword? However, the other party was truly courting death by coming to their spirit vessel. In the next moment, the snake-headed walking stick in his hand swayed gently, and countless arrays formed on the spirit boat. Buzz buzz buzz, the chains danced in the air and instantly wrapped around Lin Xian. Lin Xian's arms, limbs, and head were all bound and dropped to the ground. This is great. The kings of the Tang family heaved a sigh of relief and cheered. Mighty ancestor! Was this the living fossil of the Tang clan? It was indeed powerful. When the other king almighties saw this, they were also extremely shocked. Such a powerful genius had been subdued in an instant. Kill him. The Tang clan's martial artists surrounded them again. They stood below and looked up at Lin Xian, who was hanging in the air, and roared ferociously. Wouldn't killing him be letting him off too easily? Don't worry, I'll make him suffer a fate worse than death. The living fossil of the Tang clan snorted coldly. Let me try first. A young man stood out. He was also a genius of the Tang clan. His face was originally filled with fear, but when he saw that the other party was captured, a sinister smile appeared on his face. In the next moment, he raised his hand and shot out countless lightning bolts that struck Lin Xian's body. Instantly, energy exploded, and a sea of lightning engulfed the area in front of him. Would he be killed? Don't worry, with the living fossil of the Tang clan, that brat would definitely not die. However, he would inevitably be tortured for a while. It would probably be difficult for him to escape for the rest of his life. He asked for it. How dare he kill so many geniuses and offend so many clans? He'll definitely die. The people around them shouted coldly. The people from the governor's residence also flashed and prepared to join in the torture. On the other hand, the people from the Tai dynasty said, "General, should we snatch him?" General Xianying narrowed his eyes. Don't panic, that brat won't die for the time being. Let these people vent their anger first. When they're half dead, we'll ask for him. Good idea, but I can't help but want to try. On the Tai dynasty's side, many people also rushed over. They also wanted to torture the other party. On the other battlefield, the dark red divine dragon was surrounded by countless figures and engaged in an intense battle. An old man sneered. Why are you still struggling? Your companions have already been captured. I advise you to surrender obediently and join the Tang clan. The Tang clan can let you be our guardian beast. Otherwise, you'll only end up dead. Yes, surrender to the governor's residence and we'll spare your life. Follow the Tai dynasty and you'll become an invincible demon king. However, if you dare to go against us, you'll end up like that brat. A fate worse than death. Cold shouts were heard. Tsk. The dark red divine dragon sneered in disdain at this threat. He did not believe that Lin Xian had really been captured. One had to know that Lin Xian had so many trump cards that it was definitely beyond everyone's expectations. Just you wait, these people will soon regret it. Therefore, in the next moment, the dark red divine dragon sneered. What? You still want to threaten me? I advise you to kneel down obediently and become my human pets. If you perform well, I'll reward you with 1 or 2 great abilities of dragons and let you soar. Otherwise, I'll turn you into barbecue now. You're courting death. Hearing this, the surrounding powerhouses and mighty figures all shouted angrily and intensified their attacks. However, the dark red divine dragon had many array formations, and the dark red divine dragon itself was extremely terrifying. Therefore, for a moment, no one could do anything. At this moment, on the other side, the sea of lightning slowly disappeared where Lin Xian was. Because Lin Xian was tied up in chains and hung in midair, the Tang clan, Tai dynasty, the governor's residence, and the surrounding big clans all rushed over. They attacked as if they had gone crazy. All kinds of fireballs, lightning and torrential rain. Saber lights and sword shadows. In short, they used everything they could to attack the front. In an instant, the void where Lin Xian was directly shattered. Terrifying cracks spread in all directions. Seeing this scene, many people stopped attacking and revealed ferocious smiles. They wanted to see how half-dead Lin Xian was. Therefore, they waited patiently. The light in front finally dissipated and gradually revealed a figure. However, in the next moment, these people were all stunned as if they had been petrified. Even the living fossil elder from the Tang clan's pupils shrank. Chapter 2343. Even the living fossil elder from the Teng family narrowed his eyes. In the distance, General Xianying and the others frowned. This was because the scene in front of them was different from what they had imagined. The other party wasn't half dead at all. He wasn't even injured at all. That's right, he wasn't injured. They rubbed their eyes hard. When they looked again, many people's eyes were bursting with light as if they wanted to pierce through the void. However, they realized that the scene in front of them was really happening. Lin Xian was still bound by the chains, but he wasn't injured at all. Those terrifying attacks didn't cause any harm to him at all. Damn it, how is this possible? No, this can't be real. I must have been hit by an illusion. Many people slapped themselves crazily, trying to break free from the illusion. However, all their actions were in vain. No matter how hard they tried, they realized that Lin Xian wasn't injured at all. Damn it, I don't believe it. These people roared crazily and attacked again. Terrifying energy surged out, completely exploding the area in front of them. A black hole spread out in all directions as if it wanted to devour everything. Previously, they were still worried and didn't dare to use their full strength. However, seeing this scene, they were really crazy. They couldn't care less anymore and attacked crazily. Boom boom boom. The terrifying explosion lasted for a long time before it slowly dissipated. The light that filled the sky disappeared, and everyone looked again. Among them, many people comforted themselves. This time, the other party should be dead for sure. That's for sure. Not even a speck of dust will be left. Such a terrifying attack. With so many experts working together, I'm afraid even an almighty won't be able to block it. Who asked this kid to be so pretentious? Now he won't even have a corpse left. Cold laughter rang out as they looked ahead. However, very quickly, they were all stunned by what they saw. The smile on their faces froze, and deep fear appeared in their eyes. This was because they realized that it was the same as the previous scene. Lin Xian wasn't injured at all. No. How is this possible? How can this be? These people were crazy. They kept screaming, grabbing their hair, and their faces were full of fear. Although they were powerful King Almighties, they couldn't help but tremble at this moment. This scene was simply too bizarre. Even peerless Almighties wouldn't be able to withstand their combined attacks. And now, the other party was bound. How did the other party block it? They could not understand. How could they know that Lin Xian had summoned the great dragon sword spirit in an instant? The terrifying sword Qi destroyed all the attacks. Although these people were strong and their hands were terrifying, they were not a threat to him. Damn it! How could this be? On the other side, the almighty kings who were fighting with the dark red divine dragon were all horrified when they saw this scene. He looked as if he had seen a ghost. The dark red divine dragon sneered. What? Did you see that? Do you think that you can beat him? I advise all of you to obediently become my human pets and work like cattle or horses for this emperor. If I'm in a good mood, I can spare your lives. Otherwise, you're really dead. Damn it, don't be so arrogant. This time, we have brought countless experts. These people gritted their teeth and comforted themselves. Hearing this, the dark red divine dragon sneered. Bringing along the killing array that filled the sky, it once again clashed with the other party. On the other side, there was complete silence. Countless cultivators were dumbfounded. Lin Xian, on the other hand, sneered as he watched the scene unfold before him. But, are you very surprised? Are you very shocked? Do you think you can kill me after capturing me? Do you think you can hurt me with trash like you? What a joke! Lin Xian sneered disdainfully. His voice reached the ears of the surrounding people, causing their faces to turn even paler. Clang! Crack! At this moment, another change occurred in front of them. Everyone's scalps went numb. Lin Xian waved his hands, and the chains that bound him directly collapsed. A series of sounds rang out, and all the chains shattered and scattered on the ground. Damn it, how could this be? This time, even the living fossil of the Teng family could not remain calm. These chains could trap a peerless almighty. How did the other party escape? He could not understand. Moreover, with his experience and strength, he could see that although the other party did not have that terrifying treasure sword, the other party's sword Qi was not weak. However, his opponent's sword aura did not weaken at all. Instead, it became even sharper. How could this be? Even if the other party was a swordsman, without a weapon, his attack power should be greatly reduced. But now, the other party's power was getting stronger and stronger. This was beyond his understanding. There must be other secrets on this kid's body. The living fossil of the Teng family instantly thought of this possibility. He guessed correctly. However, he did not know what secrets the other party had. He decided that he must capture the other party and carefully study him. The other party was too mysterious. If he could obtain the other party's secrets, his stagnant cultivation might be able to reach a higher level. Thinking of this, a shocking light appeared in his eyes. This kid is somewhat interesting. This old man has lived for thousands of years, and this is the first time I have met such an interesting young man. You are worthy of my full strength. Old man, don't act like you're some big shot. Your life and chi are about to disappear, and you still dare to fight with me? Lin Xian looked forward and snorted disdainfully. How dare you be so rude to the living fossil of the Teng family? A few reckless youths of the Teng family rushed forward and roared crazily. In their opinion, with the living fossil of the elder, they were very safe. However, in the next moment, they screamed and flew backward. Lin Xian slapped the three youths and sent them flying. The three youths' bones were broken, and their internal organs were also ruptured. The three martial artists were directly turned into 3 piles of meat paste and fell to the ground. Seeing this scene, everyone sucked in a breath of cold air, not daring to speak carelessly anymore. The living fossil of the elder's face was completely gloomy. He could not tolerate the fact that the other party was so unscrupulous and killed the Teng family's disciples. Moreover, the other party's contemptuous attitude made him even more crazy. He had not felt this for thousands of years. Therefore, he was really angry. Kid, you don't know the immensity of heaven and earth. I will make you pay a painful price. The living fossil of the Teng family shouted coldly and then waved the snake-headed walking stick in his hand. Bush, bush, bush. 3 illusory images of flying snakes flew out from the walking stick. Each of them was 1,000 meters long. They coiled around each other and formed a powerful attack that charged forward. The 3 illusory images of flying snakes were too terrifying. They seemed real, and the scales on them were lifelike like godly armors. Wherever they passed, the void was shattered. On top of that, the 3 flying snakes kept roaring, shattering the 9 heavens and causing the chi and blood in one's body to surge. They're just flying snakes. They're not even comparable to horned dragons. How dare they be impudent in front of me? Lin Xian sneered in disdain. He reached out his hand and performed a lost technique. Chapter 2344. A terrifying giant hand that covered the sky rushed down from the sky. It was like a dark cloud of demonic light. It was terrifying. Humph, how foolish! Elder living fossil sneered at the sight. This was no ordinary vine serpent phantom. Under the enhancement of his control, this soaring serpent phantom was extremely terrifying. As expected, when the three soaring serpent phantoms approached Lin Xian's green dragon palm, one of the soaring serpent phantoms suddenly opened its mouth and spat out a huge fireball into the sky. Boom! The terrifying heat wave shattered the void. All the martial artists who were watching the battle retreated frantically. They felt their bodies burning as though they were on fire. How terrifying! As expected, the combat power of a living fossil is beyond our imagination. Many of the martial artists were shocked at the sight. Not only that, but the second and third heads also spat out storms and lightning. Terrifying energy bombarded the void, trying to tear apart the terrifying dragon-catching hand. Humph! Lin Xian snorted. The great dragon sword soul in his body circulated, causing the green dragon palm to become even more dazzling. It was as though a pair of God's palms were slamming down from the heavens. Boom! 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 In the next moment, these energies collided with each other, creating a deafening sound. The energy swept out in all directions like raging waves crashing against the shore. Dazzling light exploded in the sky. The violent energy gushed out like a vast ocean. Soon the crowd screamed. Elder living fossil's pupils shrank. He realized that the attack of the three soaring serpent phantoms had been shattered by the green dragon palm. Not only that, the terrifying palm continued to grab the three soaring serpents. If the three soaring serpents were caught, they would not be able to fight back. When the martial artists saw this, they screamed in horror. Damn it, how could this brat's strength be so strong? Could it be that he could fight against the living fossil elder? Everyone was going crazy. Elder living fossil snorted. In the next moment, the walking stick in his hand danced quickly, drawing a strange arc in the air. Mysterious runes flickered in the surroundings. Buzz. Following this movement, the three soaring serpent phantoms changed again. Buzz. They moved their bodies quickly and whipped their huge tails forward as if they were going to wipe out an army. The void shattered in an instant, and Lin Xian felt an incomparably terrifying and heavy pressure. So valiant! He was worthy of being called a living fossil. Lin Xian was also surprised, but he wasn't too afraid. The Azure Dragon's large hand quickly waved and grabbed the three snake tails. Then he swung them forcefully. Boom! Boom! 3 illusions of flying serpents, each of which was 1,000 feet long, were flung out, dancing in the air. Then, it smashed into the ground. An earth-shattering sound rang out, reverberating all around. The earth split open in an instant, and dust filled the air. The three-headed soaring serpent was smashed into the ground. This scene caused everyone's scalp to go numb, especially the warriors of the Teng clan. Their faces were filled with terror. In the distance, General Xian Ying also frowned. He was a bit impatient. He wanted to send a great army over to kill them together. But very quickly, his lips curled into a smile. This was because he noticed that the three-headed soaring serpents were still there. They were attacked, but they didn't disappear. He figured that the living fossil probably had other tricks up his sleeve. All right, I'll let the Ting clan capture them. After that, we'll ask for them. This way, we can capture them and preserve our strength. Therefore, General Xian Ying didn't send any powerhouses out. When the others noticed this, they sighed a breath of relief. Sure enough, an attack from a living fossil couldn't be broken so easily. Young fella, this is just the beginning. I'll let you know how powerful I am. The living fossil elder said coldly. He waved the walking stick in his hand crazily, and terrifying runes danced in the sky. Terrifying energy was channeled into the flying serpents, and 3 of them charged out from the ground. Although their tails were still being grabbed by the giant hand, the three-headed soaring serpents roared angrily. At this moment, the three-headed soaring serpents seemed to have come back to life. Moreover, a single horn grew out of their foreheads. Claws and scales also appeared on their bodies, and they became more sturdy. What's this? What happened? They were shocked. An elder exclaimed, "Heavens, are they transforming into dragons this time? Soaring serpents transforming into dragons." Just thinking about it was shocking. The living fossil elders' methods were indeed terrifying. In front of them, the 3 flying serpents became ferocious. A single horn grew out of their foreheads, and sharp claws grew out of their abdomens. Not only that, but purple wings also appeared on their backs. As they flapped, there was a strong demonic wind. Their power was much stronger than before. "Young fella, although the Soaring Serpent clan is a half-demon clan, sacred blood flows in our bodies. Our ancestors were related to dragons. Do you think you can contend against us?" The living fossil elder shouted coldly, his eyes filled with pride. In the distance, Lin Xian was disdainful. "Related to dragons? You're too shameless. The soaring serpents can't even be considered horned dragons, so how dare you claim to be related to dragons? What a joke! Let me show you what a real dragon is." Lin Xian's sonorous voice resounded through heaven and earth. Hearing Lin Xian's words, these people didn't believe him at first. He knows dragons very well? What a joke! The Soaring Serpent clan has the bloodline that's close to dragons. How dare a young fella say that he knows dragons better than us? What a joke! A look of disdain appeared in the living fossil elder's eyes, but in the next moment he was stunned. In fact, his eyes were filled with shock. This was because a huge sword soared from Lin Xian's body. Then, it rolled in the air and turned into a green dragon, roaring in all directions. These green dragons were 300 meters long and looked very mighty. Lightning surrounded their dragon horns. The dragon scales were lifelike and flickered with incomparable light. Their huge bodies were filled with auspicious clouds. Their 5 claws waved gently, instantly tearing the void apart. A dragon's roar shook heaven and earth. The terrifying sound pierced through the 9 heavens, causing everyone's expression to change. In particular, the martial artists of the Teng clan were all lying on the ground with faces full of horror. They felt a terrifying pressure suppressing their bloodline. Dragon! It's really a dragon! The living fossil elder of the Teng clan was also shocked. He didn't expect the giant dragon's shadow to be so real. Even the dragons might made him tremble unconsciously. As soon as Lin Xian's dragon shadow appeared, the 3-headed soaring serpents below also kept roaring, their faces full of uneasiness. Obviously, they felt a huge threat and a strong sense of suppression. Chapter 23:45. The dragon and the three serpents fought, and terrifying energy surged in all directions. A shocking light surged, and the entire sky trembled. Heavy rain fell from the sky, strong winds swept, thunder rumbled, and lightning flashed. All kinds of terrifying scenes appeared as if the world was about to be destroyed. The martial artists on the surrounding spiritual boats and warships trembled when they saw this, and they kept retreating. General Xianying and the others frowned. They did not expect the dragon that Lin Xian summoned to be so terrifying. It did not feel like an illusion at all. It was a real divine beast. Boom, boom, boom. After a fierce battle, the three flying serpents wailed and split apart, turning into spiritual qi and dissipating. What? The flying serpents were killed. Everyone exclaimed. The Teng family's living fossil elder had a ghastly expression on his face. He was originally full of confidence and even looked down on the other party's divine ability. Now, he was the one who was at a disadvantage. He, a living fossil, was suppressed by a young fellow. Old man, I told you, you can't compare divine abilities. Lin Xian stood on the divine dragon and looked down at the elder. He waved his hand, and the illusory true dragon under his feet charged forward again. This time, his target was the living fossil elder. Boom! The illusory dragon flew quickly in the sky, making rumbling sounds. With thunderclouds in the sky, it arrived above the spiritual boat in an instant. With a furious roar, the illusory giant dragon opened its bloody mouth and spat out black flames that surged downward. This was hellfire, and it instantly surged downward. Soon, it arrived above the spiritual boat. If the flames fell, the entire spiritual boat and the thousands of martial artists on it would probably be killed. The Teng family's martial artists were frightened. They retreated frantically and left the spiritual boat. On the other hand, the living fossil elder's face was cold as he looked up at the sky. Subsequently, he stretched out his old palm and slapped in front of him. Although his palm was old, it emitted a terrifying aura. It was like an immemorial mountain that rampaged in the sky and shattered the void. Boom! The palm shattered the hellfire that filled the sky, forming a terrifying crack in the void. A huge black hole appeared in the sky, and all the hellfire was sucked in. Lin Xian snorted coldly when he saw that his opponent had broken through the hellfire so quickly. In the next moment, he continued to control the terrifying true dragon above him. Once again, it spat out sea god ice that filled the sky. Boundless power of frost spread out in all directions, freezing everything in the area. Boom, boom, ka-ka-ka. The huge palm was also frozen in the sky. Then, it shattered into pieces and exploded. The living fossil elder retracted his palm, his expression gloomy. Although he had broken his opponent's divine ability, his opponent's second divine ability had also broken his palm. He found it hard to believe. His eyes were cold and gloomy. As his palms moved, the ground beneath him cracked open. Countless rocks tumbled and quickly assembled in the sky, forming a huge rock sword that was thousands of meters long. He grabbed it with his withered hand and slashed it forward. This scene was too terrifying. It was as if the living rock had grabbed the entire earth. The stone sword was formed from the essence of the earth. It was extremely heavy. Although it was only 1,000 meters long, it was as if the entire earth was being rotated. The void instantly shattered, and the ice in the sky cracked open. However, although the sea god ice cracked, the power of ice and fire quickly emerged again. The two powers merged perfectly, forming an even more terrifying shock wave. The fire spark stone elder wielded the huge rock, carrying the endless power of earth, to fight. After 30 fierce collisions in the sky, countless cracks appeared and countless lightning bolts fell. Then, the two disappeared in the void at the same time. Damn it, this kid is too terrifying. He was actually able to fight evenly with an elder who was at the level of a cremation stone master. The surrounding people were extremely shocked. However, some people's expressions were even more unsightly. That's not right. The huge dragon in the sky is still there. If this continues, is this kid going to suppress the fire spark stone? Everyone swallowed their saliva. As for the living fossil elder, his expression was gloomy. Since when could he be suppressed by a kid in his 20s? More importantly, he didn't even use his full strength. This was what he was relying on. In the next moment, he said coldly, "Kid, I have to admit that you're very strong. Even I am surprised. Unfortunately, provoking the Tang family will be your biggest mistake. Your illusory giant dragon is very real and very powerful. However, it's only an illusory figure. In front of a real demon king, it won't be able to withstand a single blow." What did he mean? What did he mean? The surrounding king almighties looked at each other. Could it be that the Tang family brought a peerless demon king? "Old man, show me what you're capable of." Lin Xian was fearless. "You'll see." The living fossil elder snorted coldly. His body suddenly released a terrifying aura, and his robe shook rapidly. A powerful force surged from his body. Subsequently, the living fossil elder bit his finger and quickly waved it in the sky. The blood danced with his hand and turned into mysterious runes one after another. Accompanied by endless energy, they formed a huge blood-colored pattern. If one looked at it from afar, they would see that the entire pattern was a snake's head. It was incomparably ferocious and lifelike. The blood-colored pattern was huge, but with the speed of a living fossil, it was completed in almost a second. In an instant, the terrifying blood-colored pattern transformed and emitted a demonic aura in the sky. What's going on? What kind of ability is this? Many people looked at this scene with fear on their faces. This was because they felt an uneasiness in their hearts. Psychic. Accompanied by the appearance of the blood-colored runes, the living fossil elder's cold voice was also heard. Following that, the huge blood-colored runes suddenly emitted an incomparably bright light that covered the entire sky. Following that, a huge creature quickly crawled out of the blood-colored runes. Boom, boom, boom. The huge creature appeared, and a terrifying demonic aura spread in all directions. Accompanying it was a shocking roar. All of this was shocking. What's this? Everyone was dumbfounded when they saw this scene. Lin Xian also frowned because a terrifying huge snake crawled out of the blood-colored pattern in front of him. This huge snake was the same as the soaring serpent from before. It had a pair of wings on its back, a single horn on its head, and purple scales all over its body. As soon as it appeared, it carried a strong demonic wind. "It's the soaring serpent!" everyone exclaimed. Could it be another illusory figure? No, that's not right. This aura is even more terrifying than the previous 3 illusory figures combined. Many people were shocked. However, General Xian Ying exclaimed, "It's not an illusory figure. It's a demon king, a real demon king." What? It's a real demon king. Everyone was stunned. They did not expect that the thing in front of them was a real demon king. Chapter 2346. Lin Xian also frowned. He could naturally feel the monstrous aura emanating from the other party. Unlike the cold illusion, this was definitely a real demon king with flesh and blood. Boom! As soon as the soaring serpent appeared, it spread its purple wings and charged over with powerful purple lightning. Soon, it tore the dragon illusion into pieces. Seeing this scene, the Tang family warriors cheered. The living fossil also snorted. "Kid, did you see that? This is my true strength. Although your illusions are powerful, in front of a real peerless demon king, they can't even withstand a single blow." Lin Xian frowned. Countless sword lights rose from his body and blocked the terrifying demonic wind. He had to admit that this living fossil was really terrifying. He could actually summon such a terrifying demon king. However, so what? Comparing demonic beasts? He was not afraid of the other party. Therefore, in the next moment, the corners of his mouth curled up into a sneer. "You're right. A real demon king is the most powerful. However, your soaring serpent is only a demonic snake. How can it be compared to real dragons? What does this kid mean? What is he talking about? Could it be that he also wants to summon real demonic beasts? Does he want to summon dragons? Heavens! These people were all stupefied. The living fossil old man also snorted coldly. "Kid, don't try to be mysterious. Do you really think you can summon one?" He did not believe it at all. However, Lin Xian sneered. Is there a need to summon one? There is one right now. As he spoke, he pointed into the distance. Everyone's gaze followed Lin Xian's finger. Then they understood. Indeed, there was a dark red dragon fighting in front of them. It was fighting against hundreds of almighty kings alone and was having a great time. This was definitely a real demon king. Moreover, it seemed that the other party was more similar to dragons than the soaring serpent. In fact, they did not know that this was a part of the characteristics of dragons hidden by the dark red dragon. For example, he had hidden the dragon horn and one of the 5 claws. If he really revealed the appearance of a 5-clawed true dragon, those invincible kings would probably chase him all over the world. However, although he had hidden his dragon horn and 5th dragon claw, he had not hidden his strength and divine ability. Ruffian dragon, I'll leave this to you, Lin Xian said in a clear voice. On the other side, ruffian Arowana was fighting with hundreds of people. The array formation around him flickered. When he heard Lin Xian's voice, he turned around. In fact, when the soaring serpent appeared, he had already sensed it. It was impossible for him not to know about such a terrifying demonic bloodline. Therefore, when it heard Lin Xian's call, it swung its tail and sent dozens of people flying. Then it quickly rushed over. Let's go! Seeing the dark red divine dragon leave, the surrounding king almighties also flew forward. They didn't attack again. Instead, they formed an encirclement and watched from afar. In front of Lin Xian, Teng Shi looked down at Lin Xian with disdain after destroying the dragon's shadow. However, when the dark red divine dragon arrived, his gaze changed. Its huge eyes were filled with shock. It shifted its gaze from Lin Xian to the dark red divine dragon. Seeing that the other party dared to look at it, the dark red divine dragon let out a furious roar that shook the 9 heavens. Instantly, everyone fell to the ground. The purple-winged soaring serpent trembled and subconsciously took 2 steps back. It had no choice. It was a terrifying demon king with the bloodline of an ancient demonic beast. However, in front of a real divine dragon, it was nothing. If it wasn't for its strength, it would have been crushed to the ground long ago. Little worm, do you think you can show off in front of me just because you have wings? Seeing that the other party was scared away, the dark red divine dragon snorted in disdain. The surrounding people's eyes almost popped out of their sockets. In particular, the Teng clan's martial artists were even more shocked. The Teng clan's living fossils' eyelids were twitching. Heavens, what's going on? That peerless demon king, the terrifying purple-winged soaring serpent, was scared away? They did not dare to imagine. What's so difficult about this long red dragon in front of us? Is it really a horned dragon? The Teng clan's living fossils' face darkened. The purple-winged soaring serpent even roared. It felt insulted. Therefore, in the next moment, it roared and quickly charged over. The purple-winged soaring serpent was terrifying. Just its demonic wind alone had sent many people flying. One could imagine that even an almighty being would not be able to withstand a head-on hit. Come on, I'm not afraid of you. The dark red divine dragon scoffed coldly. I'll eat your flesh and drink your blood. Who knows, my strength might even break through. The dark red divine dragon let out a strange cry, swung its tail, and charged over. As the 2 humongous creatures exchanged blows, terrifying cracks spread. Everyone frantically retreated. There was nothing they could do. The 2 demonic beasts were too terrifying. A casual attack from them was not something these people could contend against. Although they had retreated, their gazes were firmly fixed on the front. Many of them were even staring at Lin Xian. Lin Xian stopped the living fossil elder and said coldly, "Old man, it's time to get rid of you. Kid, you're courting death." The living fossil elder was enraged. He had originally summoned the vine serpent to deal with the kid in front of him. However, he did not expect the other party to have an existence similar to a W. As a result, his vine serpent could not kill the other party at all. It seemed that he had to do it himself. However, it did not matter. At most, he would just consume some energy. He wanted to kill the other party with his own hands. Therefore, in the next moment, the living fossil elder snorted coldly. His voice was like thunder from the 9 heavens, causing the space in the sky to crack. It was horrifying. Buzz. Elder Shur reached out a palm and grabbed in front of him. As soon as his palm reached out, it enlarged infinitely and covered the entire sky. In that palm, there was a sun and a moon revolving around it as if it was the entire universe. Everyone was shocked. What kind of divine ability is that? It's too terrifying. Sun Moon Divine Palm. That was a legendary palm technique that could evolve the sun and moon. It was extremely terrifying. They did not expect the living fossil elder to be so terrifying. Many people were terrified. Boom. In the sky, the Sun Moon Divine Palm slapped over and instantly enveloped Lin Xian. A terrifying aura descended and could crush the 9 heavens. Lin Xian naturally felt the danger. He snorted coldly and sword light surrounded his body like a sword god. The terrifying sword light split the 9 heavens and blocked the descending light. Then, Lin Xian snorted coldly and waved his palm. The ancient dragon abyss sword that was wrapped in the Teng Snake King's skin began to tremble rapidly and wanted to break out of the body. Oh no! The kid is going to use the sword. Seeing this scene, the surrounding people exclaimed while the living fossil elders snorted coldly. You don't have a chance. Chapter 2347. Crack, crack, crack. The surrounding space was torn apart in an instant. Heaven and earth trembled as countless black holes appeared in the surroundings. Lin Xian was completely wrapped up by the palm. The sun and moon were in the sky. The terrifying power of the surrounding palm caused the void to explode. The bones in Lin Xian's body also made cracking sounds. If the palm was completely closed, no one would be able to withstand the pressure. Great, this kid is definitely dead. Everyone cheered excitedly. It seemed that with the help of the living fossil elder, there was no need for them to fight anymore. Boom, boom, boom. As expected, Lin Xian seemed to have been bound. Only the terrifying sword light surrounded his body. Around him, there were pitch-black cracks in the space. The terrifying Sun Moon Divine Palm quickly enveloped him and then completely merged. This is great. That kid will definitely die. Seeing this scene, everyone burst into laughter. The living fossil elder also sneered. Boom, boom, boom. But soon he frowned. The laughter of the surrounding people also stopped. That was because in front of them, there was a low sound coming from the huge palm. It was like thunder, causing their blood to boil. In front of them, there was an intense collision from the huge palm. The 5 fingers quickly scattered as if they were about to be blasted apart. Damn it! How could it be? Could it be that the kid is not dead? Oh heavens! He's attacking. Is he trying to blast the Sun Moon Divine Palm away? However, the Sun Moon Divine Palm was indeed terrifying. In the palm, there was a sun and a moon rotating, releasing a terrifying power that suppressed everything. Gradually, the palm closed again. Phew! Everyone heaved a sigh of relief. This time, that kid should not be able to cause any trouble. However, just as they finished speaking, the Sun Moon Divine Palm in front of them suddenly opened up. A huge force directly pushed the entire palm away. A figure floated in the palm, surrounded by sword light, like a sword god. It was extremely terrifying. Lin Xian had countless sword chi on his body. He slashed open the terrifying Sun Moon Divine Palm and escaped from it. Damn it, that kid can break the Sun Moon Divine Palm. How did he do it? Everyone was extremely shocked. The living fossil elder's face was also gloomy. In the next moment he snorted coldly, and the Sun Moon Divine Palm suddenly slammed down, pinning Lin Xian underneath. Boom, boom. The Divine Palm descended mercilessly, as if to suppress him. At this moment, the Sun Moon Divine Palm seemed to have transformed into a universe as it descended mercilessly. Lin Xian's sword aura instantly dimmed under the pressure, as if it would shatter at any moment. Lin Xian's body continued to descend. It looked like he was about to be suppressed. Get lost. With a furious roar, Lin Xian's sword chi erupted once again, blocking the terrifying Sun Moon Divine Palm. At the same time, he quickly communicated with the ancient dragon abyss sword above him. The dragon source sword struggles grew more and more intense, causing the heavens and earth to tremble. The living fossil elder angrily roared. Then he stretched out a palm and invisible energy gushed out. Suddenly, the vine snake king's skin in the sky emitted purple runes as if to suppress everything. However, he still underestimated the ancient dragon abyss sword. A loud dragon roar and sword chime could be heard. Then, the ancient dragon abyss sword instantly broke through the vine snake king's skin and flew down quickly. What? It actually broke through. Isn't this sword a little too terrifying? The surrounding people were shocked. In the blink of an eye, the ancient dragon abyss sword had already arrived above the sun-moon divine palm and slashed down fiercely. The sun-moon divine palm shook violently. The lights in the sky trembled, and the sun, moon, and stars in the palm shattered. A scream could be heard. The living fossil elder retracted his palm. Blood flowed and dyed the void red. The living fossil elder was injured. The surrounding people's eyes almost popped out of their sockets. The martial artists of the Teng family were even more shocked. That was their living fossil elder, and he was extremely terrifying. He could suppress peerless powerhouses. However, at this moment, his arm was injured by a young man. How was that possible? They felt like they were in a dream. On the other side, the ancient dragon abyss sword flew back to Lin Xian's hand. Lin Xian snorted coldly. He stepped forward and pointed his sword forward. "Old man, today is the day you die." Boom. He waved the ancient sword and performed the chaotic heaven destroyer sword technique. The 4 ultimate moves flew forward. Demon seal. Battle song. Sky shattering. Chaotic upheaval. Boom. Boom. The spirit boat under the living fossil elder was instantly split in half and fell from the sky. Many martial artists on it were split open and turned into a bloody mist. He killed thousands of powerhouses with a single sword strike. That technique was too terrifying. The living fossil floated in the void with a terrifying gaze. Suddenly, he opened his mouth, and a terrifying vine snake flew out from his mouth. It bared its fangs and brandished its claws as it charged forward. Lin Xian stretched out his left hand. His palm was like a dragon's claw. Sword chi surrounded the sky and directly grabbed the vine snake. The surrounding 50,000 miles was filled with violent energy. No one dared to approach. Floating light. At this moment, Lin Xian activated the heavenly secret divine eyes. Immediately, the living fossil fell into the illusion. Then he screamed in pain. Hearing this, the people who were tens of thousands of miles away exclaimed in shock. "Damn it, what happened?" On the spirit boat, General Xian Ying's face darkened. "Damn it, let's attack together." He realized that the situation had changed. In an instant, all the experts lit up and quickly charged over. However, when they approached the center, their eyelids twitched wildly and their scalps went numb. Because in front of them, half of the living fossil elder's body was torn open. His internal organs and deep white bones could be seen. At this moment, he was hiding in the distance and panting nonstop. He looked like he was on his last breath. Damn it, what happened? How did the living fossil elder get seriously injured in such a short period of time? The powerhouses of Tengjia were even more in disbelief. They quickly flew over. Some of the other people clenched the sabers and swords in their hands as if they were facing a great enemy. They pushed the power in their bodies to the limit. As for the living fossil elder, he took out 2 purple pills and quickly swallowed them. At the same time, he said weakly, "Be careful, that kid knows how to use illusions." Illusions. Hearing that, everyone's expression changed. A few powerhouses hurriedly took out soul defense artifacts and carried them on their bodies. Soul attacks were impossible to guard against. Didn't they see that the living fossil elder was at a disadvantage? They did not dare to be careless. After these people took soul defense, they quickly charged over. Lin Xian also roared angrily. The great dragon sword soul was activated to the limit, and his combat strength increased crazily. Buzz. The dragon sword spirit realm flew out and transformed into a true dragon that kept swinging its tail. He also used the chaotic heaven destroyer sword and charged forward. In an instant, a terrifying battle broke out. Chapter 2348. The people who came this time were not ordinary people. They were all elites. Even a peerless king would not be able to resist them if they attacked together. But now, they were being killed until they screamed in pain. Lin Xian waved his ancient sword. Every time the sword fell, a martial artist would fall. Every time the green dragon formed by the dragon sword realm swung its tail, many martial artists would be sent flying. Some of the weaker ones were even turned into blood mist. Not only that, but the goddess of ice also appeared on Lin Xian's body. The terrifying ice wings flapped, and dozens of kings were frozen in the void. Hellfire spread out, and countless martial artists were wrapped in flames. They screamed in pain. In the end, they were turned into ashes. Not good. He was too strong. The warriors of those families screamed crazily, wailing like ghosts and howling like wolves. The people from the Tai dynasty roared crazily. Attack, they must not let him escape. This time, they had come with the conviction to kill the other party. How could they allow the other party to escape? Although the other party was strong, they had many people this time. Even if they had to fight, they had to kill him. Boom, boom, boom. The martial artists from the Tai dynasty quickly set up a formation. Not only that, the martial artists from the Teng family and the Castellan mansion also set up a terrifying killing formation. They had no choice but to join forces. Otherwise, they would not be able to do anything to the other party. In the sky, formations appeared one after another, emitting dazzling rays of light. They shrouded the entire heaven and earth, and a terrifying power pierced through the 9 heavens. The Castellan mansion set up the green lotus sword formation. 64 martial artists stood in 8 directions. Each of them held a green sword. Sword chi surrounded their bodies, forming a huge lotus flower that rotated in the sky. The Teng family set up the vine snake battle. 72 soaring snakes danced in the sky like divine rainbows, suppressing all directions. They kept moving, spitting out divine light that scattered in front of them. The martial artists from the Tai dynasty were even more impressive. Although they only sent 36 of them, they set up the famous 8 Desolation Blazing Fire formation. 8 Desolation Blazing Fire, burning everything. The 36 martial artists were all experts of the fire element. At this moment, they joined forces to set up a peerless formation. They swore to refine Lin Xian. The terrifying formation appeared in the sky, covering the 9 heavens. The powerful aura made the people in the distance tremble. The dark red divine dragon also frowned. He roared, waved his tail, and wanted to help. However, at that moment, the purple-winged soaring snake blocked their path. The purple wings were like heavenly blades, constantly bombarding the air, so that the dark red divine dragon was unable to help. Although the purple-winged soaring snake couldn't compare to the dark red divine dragon in terms of bloodline power, its strength was still very formidable. Therefore, when the two were combined, they were evenly matched. Ha, little brat, go to hell. The people of the Tai dynasty were the first to attack. The 36 fire element powerhouses attacked together, forming a terrifying sea of fire between heaven and earth, burning fiercely. The Raging Inferno 8 Desolation Array was a famous array in ancient times. At this moment, when it was used, its power was terrifying beyond compare. To Lin To, a trace of blood appeared at the corner of his mouth. The bones in his body were almost broken, and the blood in his body was roiling. The 8 Desolation Blazing Fire was too terrifying. On the other side, the soaring snake formation was also activated. Dozens of soaring snakes danced in the air, as if they were real primordial monsters, emitting terrifying power. They directly crashed into the space where Lin Xian was. Countless sword screens appeared on Lin Xian's body to resist. Even so, he was still blasted back 20,000 miles. Just as he stopped, the green lotus sword formation of the City Lord's mansion was also activated. In the sky, countless sword chi surged, forming a huge green lotus that pressed down from the sky. The green lotus spun quickly, slashing out thousands of sword chi. Clang, clang, clang. The terrifying sword chi pierced through the entire space. Lin Xian was sent flying again. His injuries were even more serious. However, his eyes were extremely bright. The longevity incantation in his body was activated, quickly healing his injuries. At the same time, the great dragon sword's soul kept roaring. Lin Xian's combat strength soared again. A sword chi armor appeared on his body, and the dragon sword realm floated above his head. Kid, you're no match for us at all. Kneel down obediently. The powerhouses of the Tai dynasty snorted. The other martial artists of the City Lord's mansion and the Ting family also sneered. Finally, they injured this kid. It was really not easy. However, when they thought about it, the other party would definitely not be able to resist their 3 killing formations. You want me to admit defeat? With just these 3 great killing formations, they were still far from enough. Lin Xian snorted coldly. He wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth, and the light in his eyes became even brighter. You're courting death. Since that's the case, don't blame us. Hearing the other party's words, the powerhouses of the Tai dynasty snorted and activated the 8 desolation blazing fire formation again. Boom, boom. Terrifying flames raged out. The 36 fire element powerhouses were extremely powerful. In an instant, the sea of fire that filled the sky once again enveloped Lin Xian. Boom. Today, I'll let you know what the real 8 desolation blazing fire is. Lin Xian roared angrily, and the hellfire on his body burned fiercely. Then, it quickly condensed and rolled behind him. Then, it formed a black fire dragon. This black fire dragon was very ferocious, and what was even more strange was that it had 8 heads arranged in a row. It was very terrifying. 8 desolation blazing dragon, burn for me. Boom, boom, boom. The 8 heads of the black fire dragon roared together, then opened their bloody mouths and spat out black flames that filled the sky. In an instant, it collided with the other party's flames. The 2 forces collided in the air. Damn it, be destroyed for me. On the opposite side, the 36 fire element powerhouses of the west roared together. On Lin Xian's side, the great dragon sword's soul roared crazily. Boom, boom. In the end, the 2 flames exploded in the sky, forming a huge black hole that devoured the surroundings. The 36 fire element powerhouses kept retreating, vomiting large mouthfuls of blood. On the other side, Lin Xian also retreated a few thousand meters, and his face was pale. What? He actually blocked the 8 desolation blazing fire formation. A single person was able to block such a terrifying array formation. In the distance, those who were watching the battle went crazy. They were all martial artists from the other families. At this moment, under the power of the 3 killing formations, they could only hide in the distance and watch the battle. However, when they saw this scene, they all went crazy. Not only them, but the people of the Ting family and the City Lord's mansion were also stunned. They knew that they couldn't stay any longer and had to attack with all their might. Kid, go to hell. In the sky, 72 vine snakes danced, and the terrifying power shattered the void. On the other side, the terrifying green lotus sword chi slashed down, piercing through everything. The 2 killing formations once again enveloped Lin Xian. They were just vine snakes, how dare they compete with the giant dragons? Lin Xian's voice was sonorous, and the dragon sword domain above his head trembled rapidly, then he drew out 81 giant dragons. These were 81 giant golden dragons, each of which was 1,000 meters long. Their huge bodies covered the sky, and the golden scales on their bodies shone. Chapter 2349. Each of the 81 golden dragons was 1,000 meters long. Their huge bodies covered the sky, and the golden scales on their bodies shone brightly. They carried with them a terrifying force. They were formed by the great dragon sword soul, so they had the true might of a dragon. As soon as the 81 golden dragons appeared, they roared in the void. Buzz. They charged toward the 72 soaring serpents. Boom, boom, boom. The 72 soaring serpents could not withstand it at all and exploded in the air, forming a mist that filled the sky. The 72 powerhouses of the Ting family also vomited blood and were sent flying. They smashed mountains and rivers and split open the void. The 2 killing formations were destroyed, and only the green lotus sword chi above their heads was left. You want to compete with me in sword technique? You're too inexperienced. Lin Xian snorted coldly. Ever since he started cultivating, he had been practicing the path of the sword. Moreover, he had the terrifying great dragon sword soul. How could these people surpass him in sword technique? In the next moment, 108,000 swords rushed out of his body and condensed in the sky, forming a terrifying giant sword that slashed down. Boom, boom. The green lotus was instantly split open, and countless green sword chi flew out. The 36 sword experts also vomited blood at the same time. The long swords in their hands were broken in half. Horrifying. It was too horrifying. Everyone's eyes were filled with shock. They could not believe that a young man could resist 3 killing formations. It was too unbelievable. Next, it's my turn to attack. Lin Xian used the Heavenly Dragon's 8 steps and quickly charged over. His speed was too fast and had reached an extreme. In an instant, he arrived in front of the Sword Kings in the governor's residence. He kept waving the ancient dragon abyss sword in his hand. No. Those people's pupils constricted as they screamed crazily. However, in the next moment, there was no sound. In the sky, 36 sword lights lit up, and then 36 heads flew into the sky. The terrifying corpses fell, and blood sprayed all over the ground. He killed 36 sword path powerhouses with a single sword strike. This scene caused everyone to be alarmed. Especially the martial artists of the Tai dynasty and the Ting family, they retreated crazily. In the distance, more powerhouses came to support them. However, Lin Xian's demigods and semi-devils was too fast. In the next moment, he appeared in front of the people from the Tai dynasty. Behind him, the huge head of the 8 Desolation Fire Dragon kept roaring and spewing out black hellfire. The fire elemental almighties teaming up? Kill me? Let me have a taste of being burned by fire. The 8 fire dragon heads spat out flames that filled the sky, completely engulfing the 36 fire elemental mighty figures. Cries of agony rang out one after another. The bodies of these fire elemental powerhouses were filled with brilliant light as they tried to fight back. However, it was impossible to do so. In the end, they were burned to ashes and scattered in the air. Oh, damn it! How could he be so strong? Countless people exclaimed in disbelief. The reason for that was because his opponent's battle prowess was simply too terrifying. It made them all tremble. The members of the Ting family were even more terrified. They wanted to escape. The living fossils of the Ting clan also wanted to attack, but Lin Xian turned his head and stared at them. This time, he did not use his movement technique. Instead, he extended his palm. He stretched out his palm and covered the world. The terrifying palm was vast and boundless, covering the entire sky. Not only that, but the finger was like a divine pillar that reached the sky. The sun, moon, and stars revolved around it, emitting a mysterious aura. It was as if a real universe was pressing down from the sky. Sun Moon Divine Palm. God, how could he know the Ting clan's divine ability? The members of the Ting clan went crazy. They were all so scared that they almost peed their pants. The living fossil of the Ting clan was even more stunned. He could not understand at all why the other party knew his ultimate move. Moreover, the power seemed to be even more terrifying than his. Damn it, who is this brat? Who is he? He roared crazily. In the next moment, the living fossil also used the Sun Moon Divine Palm to fight back. In the sky, the 2 Sun Moon Divine Palms collided, forming a terrifying force that could destroy the universe. It directly killed the 72 powerhouses of the Teng clan. Seeing this scene, Lin Xian snorted coldly and withdrew his palm. The living fossil's expression was extremely ugly. He originally wanted to save people, but he did not expect that not a single one of them would succeed. 72 elite powerhouses were directly killed in front of him. Damn brat, I want you to die. The living fossil of the Teng clan roared at the sky. His white hair danced wildly and he looked extremely demonic. With just you? Your chi and blood have dried up and you're about to die. You're no match for me. Lin Xian snorted coldly and looked down. Then, his gaze pierced through the layers of light and the endless void and stared at a figure on the spirit ship in the distance. Xianying, get over here and die. Xianying, that's right, it's him. He started from the Tai dynasty and chased them all the way to the Zhili dynasty. Throughout the entire process, the other party was leading the team. How could Lin Xian not be angry? Therefore, he decided that no matter what, he had to kill the other party. Seeing this scene, everyone was bewildered. However, General Xianying snorted coldly. You want to fight with me with just you? You're overestimating yourself. There was a hint of disdain in his eyes. How could a brat be qualified to make him attack? On the other side, the living fossil of the Teng clan was so angry that he vomited blood. He was actually despised by a brat. This was intolerable. In the next moment, he roared angrily and quickly charged over. He wanted to use the other party's blood to defend his dignity. A purple light flew out, lit up from the snake-headed walking stick, and charged towards Lin Xian. Lin Xian flipped his hand, and a terrifying sword light directly shattered the sky. It drowned the purple light. Then he slashed out dozens of sword chi again and charged towards the living fossil. The living fossil elder had already recovered from his injuries after using the secret medicinal pills. However, his strength was still much weaker than before. When the others saw this scene, they frowned. Especially General Xianying. His face was gloomy and his gaze was cold. Damn it, this brat has been fighting for so long, why hasn't his strength weakened at all? Instead, he's getting stronger. How much spiritual power does he have in his body? The other powerhouses also noticed this. This was too shocking. Although the other party had the combat strength of a peerless mighty figure, his true cultivation base was not that of a peerless mighty figure. He was just an ordinary mighty figure. How could the other party's spiritual power storage be so much? Forget it, let's kill him together. A long night might cause trouble. General Xianying snorted and prepared to attack. On the other side, a woman in black also walked out of the governor's residence. She still had her elegance. At this moment, she was holding a black longsword, and her body was filled with killing intent. She was a powerhouse from the governor's residence. She was a peerless mighty figure, Hong Xinyang. At this moment, she also swayed her waist and walked out. Bush. The two peerless powerhouses moved and charged forward. Boom. In front, Lin Xian and the living fossil were locked in a fierce battle. However, at this moment, Lin Xian suddenly frowned, and a strong sense of danger appeared in his eyes. Chapter 2350. Boom. Boom. In the next moment, the space where he was originally standing shattered. The terrifying power destroyed everything. The aftermath of this energy hit Lin Xian's body, causing him to continuously retreat. Damn it. Lin Xian frowned, his eyes cold, because he discovered that there were two more figures in front of him. One was General Xian Ying, and the other was a woman in a black dress. The other party's aura was also very strong, reaching the level of a peerless almighty. 3 peerless almighties were actually attacking together. This made Lin Xian encounter the most dangerous moment in history. Let's work together. General Xian Ying held the halberd in his hand and stood in the void like a demon god. Hearing this, Hong Xinyang and the living fossil elder nodded. Among them, the living fossil snorted coldly, and a ferocious snakehead mark appeared on his head. Then, scales appeared on his body. A terrifying power quickly recovered. Boom, 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 boom. Heaven and earth shook, and thunder rumbled. Everyone looked over. Then they were extremely shocked. Even Lin Xian frowned, because he discovered that the living fossil elder had undergone a shocking change. The other party's body was no longer short and withered. Instead, he straightened his back and became abnormally tall. His withered skin was also filled with luster. His old face became incomparably handsome. Not only that, his white hair also became incomparably black, like 3,000 waterfalls dancing wildly in the wind. An old man with 1 foot in the grave instantly turned into a young man with a heroic bearing. He looked extremely valiant. The muscles all over his body were filled with explosive power. The surrounding King Almighties sucked in a breath of cold air. If they did not see it with their own eyes, it would be difficult for them to imagine that the handsome young man in front of them was actually an old man. Moreover, he was an old man who had lived for more than 3,000 years. Wasn't this a little too terrifying? Rejuvenation. Lin Xian also frowned. He knew that the other party should have used some kind of forbidden power. It caused his body to temporarily reach a peak state. It seemed that the other party was going to go all out. Lin Xian's expression was very ugly. He could still fight against a living fossil. He was confident in fighting one-on-one against General Xian Ying. However, with 3 peerless experts attacking together, the pressure on him would increase exponentially. However, Lin Xian was not afraid at all. He took out a large amount of spirit herbs from the black earth and quickly swallowed them. Then, he tossed 2 divine crystals into his domain and quickly absorbed them. The art of longevity circulated his cultivation to replenish the energy he had consumed. The 2 divine crystals instantly turned into energy and poured into his body, causing his aura to erupt once again, reaching its peak. This brat, what extravagant means. 2 divinity crystals and countless heavenly materials and earthly treasures had raised him to the peak of his combat strength in an instant. Heavens, he was so rich. After killing him, he must have a lot of treasures on him. The crowd in the distance discussed animatedly. General Xian Ying and the other 2 narrowed their eyes. The other party had actually recovered to his peak state in an instant. This was indeed beyond their expectations. But so what? With the 3 of them working together, even a dragon would have to crouch. They did not believe that the other party would be able to stir up any waves. Kid, do you have any last words? General Xian Ying looked forward. But, do you think you can defeat me? Lin Xian snorted coldly. Although the situation was critical now, it was not fatal. One had to know that he had many trump cards in his hands, so he was not afraid at all. Nonsense. Do you think you have a chance to turn the tables? On the other side, Hong Xinyang also snorted in disdain. The living fossil elder sneered. Brat, I'll show you my true strength today. Buzz. As soon as he finished speaking, the living fossil elder of the Tung family took the initiative to attack. Purple light condensed, forming a terrifying light that surged forward. It was like a stormy sea. The power of this palm was even more terrifying than before. Obviously, after the living fossil elder turned into a young man's body, his strength and speed had increased greatly compared to before. It seemed that this was the other party's peak combat strength. Seeing the other party's attack, Lin Xian snorted coldly. He clenched his left fist, turned it into a black sun, and blasted it forward. Boom! With a loud bang, the sky collapsed and the earth cracked. A huge crack appeared in the terrifying space and spread in all directions. As for the almighty kings who were watching, they screamed and fell to the ground. Some of them even exploded into blood mist because they were too close. It could not be helped. This was a peerless attack, and it was very terrifying. Those almighty kings could not withstand it at all. When the two of them attacked, the two palms collided in the air, and it was difficult to determine the winner. At this moment, General Xianying and Hong Xinyang made their move. The two of them would not just watch the battle. Instead, they were going to attack and kill the other party. Boom! The halberd danced in the air, turned into a sharp light, and descended from the sky. It was like a thunder, trying to split Lin Xian apart. On the other side, Hong Xinyang waved her black longsword, forming a powerful killing intent. The terrifying sword light directly pierced through the void, stabbing towards Lin Xian's vital point. Both of them were peerless powerhouses. At this moment, the power of their attacks was very terrifying. Even though Lin Xian was strong, he still felt a strong sense of danger. He did not want to continue fighting. His body swayed, and he dodged Hong Xinyang's sword chi. However, the halberd above his head smashed down like a mountain. Buzz! Lin Xian waved his hand, and a blue shield flew out, blocking in front of him. Previously, he had killed countless powerful enemies and collected their storage rings. He had a lot of weapons in his hands. This blue shield was a top-grade Earth-rank artifact. Clang! The heavenly halberd collided with the blue shield, producing an earth-shattering sound. Countless spatial cracks spread, and Lin Xian was pushed back by the huge force. The blue shield in front of him was also sent flying. Kid, you are not a match for us at all. General Xianying snorted, and then the three peerless powerhouses attacked again. Lin Xian fought against the three of them alone. The sky fell and the earth cracked, and the sun and moon lost their light. The area within 100,000 miles was destroyed, and the sky was filled with light as if it was the end of the world. Boom! Boom! However, Lin Xian was at a disadvantage, and the situation was very dangerous. It could not be helped. Although he was a young genius, he was still too young, only in his 20s. Among the three of them, one was an old monster who had lived for more than 3,000 years, and the other two were peerless powerhouses who had lived for more than 1,000 years. When the three of them joined forces, it could be said that it was very terrifying. Lin Xian was already very strong to be able to hold on until now. However, he was still injured. The blue shield was directly shattered into pieces, and he was severely injured. A few of his ribs were broken, and he was sent flying while vomiting blood. Chapter 2351. How dare you attack the three of us? You're overestimating yourself. Hong Xinyang sneered. The powerhouses hundreds of thousands of miles away gasped when they saw this scene. It was too shocking. The three peerless powerhouses joining forces could suppress everything. That kid is definitely dead. That's right. Who asked him to be so arrogant? He's done for this time. Just you wait, we'll catch him. We'll let him taste a fate worse than death. Don't worry, he'll suffer a terrible fate. Cold laughter was heard one after another. Little Xian. On the other battlefield, the dark red dragon was also enraged when he saw this scene. He did not expect the three peerless powerhouses to attack together. He sensed danger. He had to help. So in the next moment, he wanted to leave this place. However, the purple vine snake blocked his way. There was a hint of mockery in its cold eyes. You want to leave? You'll have to get past me first. However, you won't be able to get past me. The purple vine snake also spoke human language. Damn you, do you really think I won't dare to kill you? The dark red dragon was also angry. I didn't start a massacre because you have some bloodline with the dragons. However, you're courting death. In that case, don't blame me for starting a massacre. You want to kill me? How naive. The purple-winged snake sneered and turned its huge head. I admit that your bloodline power is very strong. However, my strength far surpasses yours. It's not certain who will kill who. At the end of its sentence, its huge eyes emitted a cold light. With your blood, perhaps my bloodline can evolve again. So, die obediently. The purple-winged snake actually had designs on the dark red dragon, because he realized that the other party's bloodline power was purer than his. It was closer to the dragon's. If he consumed this bloodline, he might be able to progress in the direction of the dragons. In the next moment, the purple wings flapped and formed two huge purple tornadoes that swept forward. Purple Demon Storm, die. The two purple tornadoes danced. Each of them was tens of thousands of feet tall and a few thousand meters in diameter. Wherever they passed, the mountains and rivers split open and the forests were destroyed. Endless cracks appeared on the ground. The two purple tornadoes instantly enveloped the dark red dragon. Ding ding dang dang. The sound of an intense collision rang out, and a hint of anger appeared in the dark red dragon's eyes. Courting death. See if this emperor doesn't tear you apart. As he spoke, he waved his dragon claws and tore the entire void apart. The purple storm that filled the sky was instantly torn apart. But, with a roar, he charged over. This time, the dark red dragon was truly enraged. The battle between the two caused mountains to crumble and the earth to crack. That scene was in no way inferior to that of Lin Xian and the others. In fact, it was even more violent. Boom! In the ruins far away, the sky was filled with rubble as Lin Xian stood up. His clothes were torn apart, revealing the armor underneath. The blood at the corner of his mouth was exceptionally glaring. Clearly, the previous attack had injured him. But fortunately, it wasn't that serious. Moreover, with the art of longevity, which was a super recovery technique, Lin Xian's life was not in danger. However, the scene in front of him made him feel a sense of danger. The three powerhouses working together were very powerful. He had to break the balance. Lin Xian looked into the distance. The dark red dragon and the purple vine snake were fighting fiercely. It seemed that the dark red dragon would not be able to make a move for the time being. The little white monkey was very fast and had the teleportation skill, but it could only sneak up on him. There were three opponents, so it wasn't very effective. Therefore, Lin Xian did not intend to use it. Lin Xian decided to unlock the first seal on the ancient dragon abyss sword. Buzz. 9 mysterious runes. When the first rune was unlocked, the ancient dragon abyss sword became unusually sharp. Lin Xian's aura suddenly skyrocketed. He was like a sword god as he charged over in large strides. There was something wrong with that long sword. Seeing this, the living fossil quickly reminded him. He had been injured by the other party's sword earlier, so he was extremely cautious when he saw this scene. This was because he wouldn't use the same move to injure him twice. Buzz. Lin Xian raised his hand and slashed out 3 sword auras. The terrifying sword lights slashed at the three people in front of him. He had indeed become stronger. General Xianying looked at the incoming sword auras and did not dodge. Instead, he waved his Fangtian halberd and quickly resisted them. With a boom, heaven and earth shook, and the sword auras in the sky were instantly cut in half. General Xianying is so powerful. The martial artists in the distance exclaimed when they saw this scene. The living fossil of the Ting family also roared. He slapped out his purple palm like the hand of a demon king and shattered the terrifying sword auras. On the other hand, Hong Xinyang's body swayed. She did not resist. However, she slashed out a sword light with a backhand and slashed forward. Lin Xian swayed and instantly dodged Hong Xinyang's sword light. He charged forward. His target was still the living fossil of the Ting family. This was because he could see that although the living fossil of the Teng family was powerful, he had the most shortcomings. Firstly, the old man had been injured previously. Although he had recovered, he was still far from his peak. Secondly, the old man was too old. The qi and blood in his body had dried up. Although he had forcefully used a secret technique to increase his strength to his peak state, he estimated that he would not be able to hold on for long. Therefore, Lin Xian decided to get rid of the living fossil first. Buzz. His body flashed in the air like lightning and instantly arrived near the living fossil. The ancient dragon abyss sword in his hand danced wildly. A terrifying sword aura slashed forward. This sword aura was even more powerful than before. It was obvious that Lin Xian was only confusing the other party and did not use his true strength. Now, the power of the ancient dragon abyss sword erupted. What? The living fossil of the Teng family had a gloomy look on his face, then he was furious. His opponent is looking for me again. What does he mean? Does he think that I'm the weakest among the three? He could not tolerate that. In the next moment, he roared and slapped out 18 purple palms in a row. They were like 18 mountains that surrounded the field in the air. They collided with the sword aura that filled the sky. An intense collision was heard, and lightning flashed and thunder rumbled in front. Attack! I must not let that brat succeed. General Xianying shouted coldly and charged forward with his Fangtian halberd. On the side, Hong Xinyang's body swayed and disappeared like a ghost. They did not intend to give Lin Xian a chance to fight alone. In an instant, the two of them arrived in front of Lin Xian again. This time, Lin Xian did not pay attention to the two of them. Two sword auras rushed out of his body and turned into two figures that looked exactly like him. Then, they cooperated with the dragon sword domain and fought against General Xianying and Hong Xinyang. This was the clone technique of the All Beginnings Holy Land. Lin Xian used the great dragon sword soul to simulate it, hoping that it would be able to resist for a while. He knew that although this divine ability was powerful, it could not completely resist the other party. Chapter 2352. After doing that, Lin Xian's eyes emitted a sharp light, and all kinds of divine abilities rushed towards the living fossil elder. Chaotic Heaven Destroyer Sword. 4 killer moves: Sea God's Ice, Hellfire, and Terrifying Thunder. In an instant, the place where the living fossil elder was completely annihilated. Boom, boom, boom. The living fossil elder also fought back with all his might. However, the other party's methods were too fierce. For a moment, he was beaten back and vomited blood. The living fossil elder roared crazily. He was really going crazy. His heart was filled with killing intent for the other party to treat him like this. In the next moment, he waved his snake-headed walking stick. He also used the Teng family's great divine ability to fight back. On his body, the illusory image of 9 soaring snakes appeared, cooperating with him to kill the other party. However, Lin Xian sneered. His figure changed, and he instantly retreated far away. The 2 clones he sent out had been killed by General Xianying and Hong Xinyang, so he would not continue to fight with them. Sure enough, after the 2 clones were killed, General Xianying and Hong Xinyang stared at Lin Xian like lightning. The 3 of them joined forces again. Looking at the 3 of them, Lin Xian sneered. Above him, the dragon sword domain directly enveloped General Xianying. Below him, the demon-slaying sword formation restrained Hong Xinyang. This time, the living fossil elder was once again alone. Buzz. Lin Xian raised his hand and slashed a few times. The terrifying sword chi was like a long river, slashing over. Courting death. The living fossil elder was already prepared. He waved his snake-headed walking stick and destroyed everything. However, in the next moment, he screamed in pain. That was because he felt that his soul was burning. The pain was 10 times, no, 100 times more painful than the previous injuries he suffered. Damn it, it was another soul attack. The living fossil elder was about to go crazy. He had seen the other party's illusion before, so there was a purple mark on his forehead for defense. However, he did not expect the other party to have an even stranger attack. It could actually burn his soul. This made his face full of horror. In an instant, he was injured. In fact, he did not even want to fight anymore. Because his soul was damaged, it was very troublesome to recover. He had swallowed a large number of pills, but it was only enough to stop his injuries from worsening. However, it was impossible for him to recover in a short period of time. More importantly, he did not have much vitality left. Even if he maintained such a youthful and vigorous state, he wouldn't be able to hold on for long. Initially, he thought that the 3 of them would be able to take down the other party quickly. But now, it seemed that it was impossible. In the next moment, he retreated rapidly. Lin Xian did not give chase because General Xianying and Hong Xinyang had charged out again. Although the whole process seemed to take a long time, it was actually only a matter of a few seconds. The dragon sword domain and the demon-slaying sword formation could only block General Xianying and the others for about 5 seconds. Any longer and it would be impossible. Unless Lin Xian did it himself. However, 5 seconds was enough for a prodigy like Lin Xian to do a lot of things. Just like now, in just 3 seconds, he had injured the living fossil elder. In the distance, the Teng family's martial artists roared madly. That was because they realized that the living fossil elder was truly in a miserable state. His clothes were tattered, his expression was dispirited, and his face was abnormally pale. It would wither at any moment. It seemed that the impact was definitely very serious. Indeed, the living fossil elder's entire body was in pain, especially the burning of his soul, which made him still have lingering fear. When General Xianying and Hong Xinyang saw this, their hearts also beat wildly. Among them, General Xianying formed a seal with his palm, and a crescent moon appeared between his brows, protecting his soul. On the other side, Hong Xinyang took out a small black cauldron and floated above her head, casting down thousands of light screens. After doing all this, the 2 of them stared ahead again. Kill. The 3 of them roared. This time, they also used their trump cards, not giving Lin Xian any chance to turn the tables. The Great Destruction. General Xianying was like a demon god as he slashed down with the halberd in his hand. A terrifying light was sent over. On the other side, Hong Xinyang also performed a spiritual water sword technique, which was extremely fierce. The living fossil elder gritted his teeth. This time, he took out a very strange treasure. It was a red box, about the size of a palm, covered with blood-red patterns, emitting a monstrous murderous aura. Everyone's face turned pale. What was that? Many people were frightened, but an elder from the Tai dynasty exclaimed. Could it be the legendary demon blood box? Demon blood box, what was that thing? Some people were puzzled. But soon they knew. Because someone explained, the demon blood box is the blood left behind by a peerless demon beast, which is extremely terrifying. One drop was enough to kill a powerhouse. But they did not know what grade the demon blood in the other party's hand was. What? So powerful? Everyone was shocked. They did not expect the other party to take out such a terrifying killer move. Buzz. The living fossil elder's expression was cold as he slowly opened the demon blood box in his hand. The monstrous murderous aura turned into a sea of blood, rolling above the 9 heavens. In front, General Xian Ying and Hong Xinyang also felt the danger. The two of them pulled away from Lin Xian and stood on opposite sides to prevent the other party from escaping. Lin Xian frowned completely because he once again felt a strong sense of danger. The red blood in front of him had a great impact on him. But fortunately, the dragon sword's soul in his body roared, and a terrifying pressure instantly disappeared. Kid, be careful, that's the demon blood of a peerless demon king. In the distance, Crimson Shenong reminded him. At this moment, he was fighting with the purple vine snake. The purple vine snake was very miserable. There were many wounds on its body, and one of its purple wings was torn in half. It was completely suppressed by the Crimson Shenong. However, it would not die for a while. Therefore, the Crimson Shenong could not come over to help. However, it could still inquire about the battle situation from time to time. The blood of a peerless demon king, no wonder. Judging from the aura it emitted, it had probably surpassed the 8-star demon king. Lin Xian and the others' combat power were all 8-star. But the other party had surpassed 8-star. Therefore, even General Xian Ying and Hong Xinyang were very cautious. They all quickly retreated, afraid that they would be stained with the blood. Kid, you should be proud that you made me use this treasure. Now you can die in peace. The living fossil elder in front had a ferocious expression, and there was even a hint of madness in his eyes. That was because the demonic blood box was a powerful treasure that could be used to kill powerful enemies. He did not expect that it would be used to deal with a young man in his 20s. But now, he could not care so much. He had to kill the young man in front of him to vent the hatred in his heart. Go. The living fossil elder held the demon blood box with a solemn expression. Chapter 2353. There were a total of 2 drops of demonic blood in the box. One was the size of a grape, and the other was about half the size of a grape. The living fossil elder had used the smaller one. This was because he felt that this one was enough to kill the other party. After all, this was the demonic blood of an invincible demon king. Moreover, it contained a terrifying bloodline power. Coupled with the nurturing of the demonic blood box, the other party would definitely not be able to resist it. Kid, go to hell. The living fossil elder used a secret technique and waved his finger. Buzz. The crystal clear blood bead flew out. As soon as it appeared, the surrounding sea of blood surged, transforming into countless resentful spirits that roared. It was enough to make one's scalp go numb. Even the mysterious In River army and Hong Xinyang kept retreating until they were tens of thousands of kilometers away. Only then did they stop. This demonic blood was too terrifying. As soon as it appeared, the void was quickly shattered. The place where Lin Xian was imprisoned. The surrounding sea of blood spread as if there were countless blood-colored resentful spirits roaring out. Vaguely, the illusory image of a blood-colored flying serpent rose from the sea of blood and spread its blood-colored wings. It covered the sky and the sun. This was only caused by the blood-colored aura. The blood-colored bead was still far away. One could imagine how terrifying it would be when it arrived. Lin Xian snorted coldly. The dragon sword domain surged, and a terrifying sword light pierced through the surroundings. Instantly, all the blood-colored aura was destroyed. It even pierced through the blood-colored flying serpent. All the illusory figures wailed and fell into a pool of blood. They kept surging. Lin Xian's body swayed as he dodged at an extreme speed. He did not want to face such a dangerous thing head-on. Nevertheless, the blood was very spiritual. No matter where Lin Xian moved, it followed closely. Moreover, the distance was getting closer and closer. In the distance, the living fossil elder of the Teng family snorted coldly. Kid, don't run. You can't escape at all. This is the blood of an invincible demon king. It's full of spirituality. Once it recognizes you, it will kill you even if you escape to the ends of the earth. General Xian Ying and Hong Xinyang retreated far away. When they saw this scene, a cold smile appeared on their faces. They knew that the other party was dead for sure. Even though they couldn't bring him back, killing him could be considered giving the war race an explanation. Furthermore, General Xian Ying's eyes were filled with disillusionment. This was because other than the people he had brought with him, there was also a huge creature on his spirit boat. Presumably, the other party was also watching at this moment. Since the other party did not make a move, there was even less reason for him to make a move. Lin Xian didn't try to escape after learning that the demonic blood was very spiritual. What the other party said should be true, so what he needed to think about was how to resist. Defense was not his strong suit. Although his defense was comparable to an exceptional almighty, ordinary exceptional almighties were nothing against this demonic blood. In that case, he could only attack. Attack was the best defense. Lin Xian gripped the ancient dragon abyss sword with both hands as the great dragon sword soul within his body roared nonstop. Streams of dragon soul aura surged into the ancient sword. At the same time, the second seal was rapidly unraveling. A terrifying power immediately erupted, shattering a part of the sky. Destroy! Lin Xian held the sword with both hands and slashed out. This sword was too terrifying. The power of the ancient dragon abyss sword with 2 seals unraveled was twice as powerful as before. Not only that, the great dragon sword's soul roared nonstop, providing an unparalleled power. In the sky, a sword shadow streaked across. It was extremely dazzling. The entire space was split into 2, and terrifying cracks appeared. Everyone was stunned. They could only watch this scene with their eyes wide open. And they couldn't react. In front of them, a drop of demonic blood finally collided with the ancient dragon abyss sword. Boom! The sky was filled with explosions. The front was completely drowned by the blood-colored light and soaring sword chi. Boom boom boom. Violent vibrations sounded, and terrifying waves swept in all directions. Everyone was so frightened that they retreated frantically. The living fossil elder also tapped his foot and retreated 100,000 miles. His eyes flickered as he looked forward. Everyone was paying attention. The dark red divine dragon also slapped the purple vine snake away and retreated far away. He looked very worried because the power of the demonic blood was terrifying. Damn brat, nothing must happen to you. In front of them, the blood-colored light gradually disappeared, and the sword chi that filled the sky also weakened. Finally, the scene inside was revealed. Everyone craned their necks and looked over. In the next moment, they were stunned, because in front of them, a figure was floating in the sky. Although his clothes were tattered, the light of his armor was dim, and there were even cracks in some places. However, the other party was not dead. Damn it, that brat is still alive. How is that possible? Could it be that he destroyed that drop of demonic blood? Oh my God! No way! That's the demonic blood of an invincible monster king. It can kill a peerless mighty figure. How did he block it? That sword was too terrifying. Perhaps it directly cut through the demonic blood. Everyone discussed animatedly. The dark red divine dragon also heaved a sigh of relief. Then he shook his head. Forget it, that brat has the great dragon sword soul and the bone of a sage. He probably won't be killed so easily. Thinking of that, he stopped paying attention and turned to stare at the purple-winged snake. Two of the other party's wings were broken. It seemed that he was not far away from being killed. Buzz. The dark red divine dragon rushed forward. On the other side, everyone was stunned. Those powerhouses and mighty figures were all stunned. Even General Xianying and Hong Xinyang were stunned. That was because they did not expect that to happen. Damn it, that's impossible. Finally, the living fossil elder screamed. How is that possible? That's a powerful trump card. It was so terrifying that he could not bear to use it. Originally, he thought that using one drop to kill a peerless mighty figure would be as easy as cutting grass. However, how did the other party block it? That was driving him crazy. Damn it, what the hell is that sword? The living fossil elder's eyes were cold. He decided that after killing the other party, he must seize the other party's treasured sword. He could tell that the treasured sword was very likely an ancient artifact that contained a mysterious power. Otherwise, it would not be so powerful. If he could get it, so what if he lost a drop of demonic blood? He did not even hesitate to use the second drop of demonic blood. That was because he had to kill the other party. Phew. In front of him, Lin Xian was panting heavily. His face was a little pale. Obviously, using the two seals had consumed a lot of his energy. Moreover, the impact of the energy blasted his body, causing him to be injured again. His internal organs were damaged. Fortunately, it would not take his life for the time being. In addition, he was very rich. At that moment, he grabbed a large number of treasures and devoured them without any regard for his life. He had also completely refined the divine crystals. The longevity incantation circulated wildly and quickly healed his injuries. Old man, show me what you've got. I'll take it. Lin Xian raised his sword and pointed it forward again. Chapter 2354. Lin Xian's words shook the hearts of the surrounding people. However, Elder Sparkstone's face was indeed terrifyingly dark. The other party actually dared to openly provoke him, which made his lungs about to explode. "Kid, what are you being arrogant for? The one just now was just a smaller one. I don't believe that you can contend against my second drop of demon blood." Elder Living Fossil was really angry. He decided to kill the other party at all costs. Sure enough, in the next moment he waved his palm, and the second grape-sized drop of demon blood flew out. The power this time was more than twice as strong as the previous one. It was definitely enough to kill the other party. "Let's see how you dodge this time." He did not believe that the other party could contend against it. Sure enough, once this drop of demon blood appeared, the world changed drastically. In fact, the sky even started to rain blood. Everyone retreated frantically again. Lin Xian's face also became incomparably solemn. Although his words were arrogant, he did not dare to be careless at all. It seemed that he could only use this move. He took a deep breath, and a sharp light burst out from his eyes. Buzz. The 3 seals on the ancient dragon abyss sword were released. Boom boom boom. The terrifying sword light pierced through the 9 heavens and 10 earths. These sword chi crisscrossed the sky, like a light pillar that reached the sky, constantly destroying the surroundings. Damn it! How did his sword chi become stronger again? So terrifying. Everyone went crazy. General Xianying, Hong Xinyang, and the others' faces also changed drastically. The living fossil was even more terrified, because the other party's sword chi had actually doubled in power. How was this possible? After releasing the 3 seals, Lin Xian's body shone brightly. He held the ancient dragon abyss sword with both hands and slashed forward. The power of the great dragon sword spirit also erupted together. Boom! The sword slashed down, and a radius of 100,000 miles was directly cut open. The drop of demon blood was also cut in half. Then, it was shattered by the endless sword chi. Although he was powerful, the effect was not even the first drop. After the 3rd seal was released, Master Dragon's ancient dragon sword was too terrifying. What? It was destroyed with one slash. This was impossible. Everyone went crazy. Such a powerful demon blood, killing a peerless powerhouse was not a problem. The other party actually destroyed it so easily. Just what level had the power of this sword reached? They did not dare to imagine. On the other side, Lin Xian was also in great danger. After the sword slashed down, the muscles on his arms suddenly split open. Blood burst out and dyed the surroundings red. He had no choice. With his current strength, forcefully unlocking the 3rd seal on the ancient dragon abyss sword was too much for him. As a matter of fact, his muscles couldn't withstand the pressure at all and directly split open. Lin Xian's eyes shone with a sharp light. The secret art of longevity and the great dragon sword soul surged within his body. Then, he swung his ancient sword again and slashed forward. The second slash was equally earth-shattering. That power caused everyone's expression to change. The most frightened ones were the living fossils of the Teng family, because this sword strike was aimed at him. The Teng family's living fossil roared madly. It was worth noting that he would not be able to block the demonic blood even if he was in his peak state. However, the sword chi from before was able to easily destroy the demonic blood. This was definitely enough to threaten his life. So in the next moment, he turned around and fled. Buzz. The demonic blood box in his hand kept enlarging. It was like a red mountain blocking in front of him. Not only did the demonic blood box contain terrifying demonic blood, but it was also a rare treasure of heaven and earth. It was very tough. At this moment, Elder Zhang wanted to use the demonic blood box to block the sword chi. However, he was not very confident. Therefore, he fled frantically. The spiritual power in his body burned rapidly. The living fossil elder ran into the distance like a stream of light. Boom. Even so, he still underestimated this sword. After unlocking the 3rd seal, the ancient dragon origin sword's power was definitely beyond imagination. Not only was it powerful, but its speed was also shocking. When the sword slashed down, Elder Zhang was directly shattered into 2 halves. Not only that, but the terrifying sword light also enveloped the living fossil elder. Boom! In the distance, endless sword chi erupted and shot into the sky. No one dared to get close. As for Lin Xian, there were even more cracks on his body. His arms were almost broken, and the other parts of his body were also broken. Blood flowed and dyed his body red. However, he did not stop. The third sword slashed out. Seeing that the other party was about to attack, everyone went crazy. At this moment, countless people fled in all directions. Even the strong Xianying, Jiang family, and Hong Xinyang fled. They did not dare to resist such a terrifying sword chi. Damn it! You can't attack me! Hong Xinyang screamed because she realized that the sword chi was actually directed at her. But why was it directed at her? She wasn't the strongest one. This sword should have killed General Xianying. She could not understand. Boom! In the next moment, he was enveloped by the terrifying sword light. Heaven and earth rumbled. Countless sword chi circled in the distance as if it was about to destroy the world. The terrifying sword light slashed open the void, splitting it into large pieces. Everyone fled one after another. Those who were slow to flee were struck by the shockwaves and were directly cut in half at the waist. In an instant, the sky was dyed red with blood. Countless corpses fell. A large number of warriors were killed. General Xianying was also attacked by the aftershock. He immediately vomited blood and flew backward. But fortunately, he managed to keep his life. However, he still kept retreating, flying far away to avoid being affected again. Because he really did not know if the other party could make a fourth sword slash. Clang. In the distance, Lin Xian stood in the void, gasping for breath. His face was abnormally pale, and his body was completely covered in blood. The ancient dragon abyss sword also fell in the air, making a clanging sound. Lin Xian's body was bleeding profusely. In some places, one could even see the bones. The bones in his hands were all broken. The third seal had already caused a great burden on him. After 3 sword slashes, his entire body was about to fall apart, especially his arms that suffered the most damage. They did not have any strength left. Whoosh, with a thought, countless treasures appeared in front of him from the Black Earth ship and then wrapped his entire body. Rapid recovery. The art of longevity was also crazily absorbing these medicinal effects. Now, Lin Xian was at his weakest. Basically, he did not have much combat power left. However, countless people were still fleeing in the distance. Because the 3 sword chi exploded, forming a strong storm that directly covered hundreds of thousands of miles. Ordinary warriors were running for their lives. Those who were weak were killed one after another. Now, who still had the mood to care about Lin Xian? Even someone as strong as General Xianying did not dare to get close. However, while General Xianying did not dare to get close, someone dared to. On a spiritual ship, 4 figures suddenly appeared. Their bodies were pitch black like ghosts. They directly tore through the void and charged over. Whoosh! Chapter 23:55. The 4 Taoists were very fierce. Their long swords were about to envelop Lin Xian. With Lin Xian's current state, it would be difficult for him to block them. Indeed, Lin Xian's entire body was in pain as if it was broken. However, he still had his soul power. In the next moment, a golden light appeared in his eyes and surrounded him. Buzz. Floating light. The 4 Taoists in black were instantly affected by the illusion and stopped in midair. Then Lin Xian used soul ignition and the souls of the 4 Taoists instantly burned. They screamed miserably, their bodies trembling as they fell from the sky. Seeing this, the people who wanted to kill Teng Qingshan all stopped. Heavens! It was too terrifying. Even if Teng Qingshan was seriously injured, he could still kill 4 experts in an instant. This method was heaven-defying. They did not dare to attack anymore and chose to attack from afar. Terrifying sword chi, fire, and lightning flew from afar, trying to kill Lin Xian. However, at this moment, a dragon tail blocked in front of Lin Xian. It directly shattered all the attacks. The dark red dragon appeared beside Lin Xian and roared in all directions. "Kid, are you okay?" It asked with concern. I'm fine. I won't die yet. Lin Xian shook his head and continued to swallow treasures. What's going on? Why is this dragon here? What about the soaring serpent? Many people looked into the distance. In the next moment, they were extremely shocked. The peerless Taoist king summoned by the Teng family, the purple soaring serpent, was split in half. Its 1,000-meter-long body was split in the air and smashed to the ground, shattering mountains and rivers. It stirred up a lot of dust. Purple blood flowed out and gathered into a river. This purple blood was the blood of a Taoist king. It was extremely terrifying and had strong corrosive and poisonous properties. Therefore, wherever it passed, countless creatures and mountains were all corroded and melted. The purple soaring serpent was killed. Heavens! They did not dare to believe it. At this moment, the surrounding energy and the terrifying sword chi also slowly disappeared. More and more people saw this scene and cried out in surprise. Especially the surviving warriors of the Teng family, their scalps went numb. Oh, damn it! This was impossible. It can't be like this. They screamed like they had gone mad. This was because the Teng family's losses were too severe. A living fossil elder had been killed, and their peerless beast, the purple vine snake, had also been killed. This was a huge blow to them. The others were also extremely frightened. Over at the city lord's mansion, there were also continuous screams, because they discovered that Hong Xinyang was also killed by a single sword strike. To be able to kill two peerless almighties in 3 strikes, the other party's strength was absolutely heaven-defying. General Xian Ying wiped away the blood at the corner of his mouth and looked forward with a cold glint in his eyes. The 3 shocking sword chis from before did not attack him, so he was only slightly affected and suffered light injuries. At this moment, he looked ahead and revealed a sinister smile. This was because he could tell that Lin Xian was severely injured and most likely did not have much combat strength left. How could such a person withstand his attacks? Therefore, in the next moment, he gathered the experts of the Tai dynasty and charged over. The 8 elders followed General Xian Ying and flew forward together. Their bodies shone brightly like 8 suns, covering the sky. Thunderous sounds could be heard in the surroundings, and the world was trembling. General Xian Ying held the halberd in his hand and was extremely powerful. He was like a peerless god of war. Damn it! Do you really think I'm a pushover? Seeing this, the dark red divine dragon was furious. The other party had killed them time and time again, and now he dared to attack again. He really could not tolerate it. In the next moment, he roared angrily. He waved his dragon claws, causing the sky to tremble and the ground to crack. 9 dragon roars flew up from the ground. They were formed from the earth's spiritual veins, and they were extremely terrifying. Each dragon shadow was 1,000 meters long and pierced through the clouds. They flew from the ground to the sky and charged towards General Xian Ying and the 8 powerhouses. The 8 elders roared angrily as they were entangled by the dragon chi, causing intense collisions. General Xian Ying shouted and swatted away the dragon chi with his Fang Tian halberd. Then he strode forward to kill. The dark red divine dragon snorted and was about to attack. At this moment, Lin Xian said, "Ruffian dragon, go and deal with the other 8 people. Don't let any of them escape alive. Leave Xianing to me. Kid, don't force yourself. You're seriously injured now." The dark red divine dragon was worried. Lin Xian shook his head. "Don't worry, I've already recovered 70% to 80%. So fast." The dark red divine dragon was shocked. Even if he had treasures and divine crystals, he would not be able to recover so quickly. It seemed that the other party's longevity art was indeed heaven-defying and had far exceeded his expectations. Indeed, not to mention the dark red divine dragon, even Lin Xian did not expect the longevity art to be so terrifying. His recovery ability was heaven-defying. In a short period of time, he had indeed recovered 70% of his strength. Although there was still some pain in his body, he should be able to endure it as long as he did not unlock the 3rd seal. This time, Lin Xian did not unlock the seal. Instead, he summoned the great dragon sword soul. Now, it was time to use this trump card. The great dragon sword soul came out of Lin Xian's body and attached itself to the dragon source ancient sword, emitting a dazzling light. Terrifying sword chi shot up to the sky. Damn it, could it be that the other party still has combat strength? Seeing this scene, the martial artists in the distance exclaimed. General Xian Ying also frowned. He knew that he could not delay any longer. The other party was too strange. Even a peerless mighty figure would not be able to recover from his previous injuries in a short period of time. However, the other party could still attack now, which was indeed beyond his expectations. In the next moment, General Xian Ying waved the halberd in his hand and slashed forward. It was like a Milky Way that fell from the sky. It was extremely terrifying. Clang. Lin Xian moved the Dragon Source ancient sword. The two collided and the sound of metal clashing could be heard. At this moment, although the ancient sword was not unsealed, it contained the power of the great dragon sword soul, which made its power extremely terrifying. Therefore, this attack was evenly matched. The other party blocked it. General Xian Ying frowned. The other party was clearly so severely injured. How could he still block his attack? His face darkened and he snorted coldly. Kid, I admit that you're very strong. But now, you're probably an arrow at the end of its flight. I wonder how many more moves you can block from me? 1 move or 2 moves. Maybe the next move will kill you mercilessly. So, kneel down obediently and beg for mercy. As he spoke, General Xian Ying moved the halberd. A terrifying light covered the entire sky. The sky fell and the earth cracked. General Xian Ying's power was too terrifying. He was not injured much previously. Now that he attacked with his full strength, it was extremely terrifying. He was like a god of war. Lin Xian let out a long roar and waved the Dragon Source ancient sword. He pushed the great dragon sword soul and slashed forward. Chapter 2356. The long swords fell one after another, causing the light around General Xian Ying to explode. The battle between the two was earth-shattering. A terrifying light enveloped the entire sky. Damn it, how is that possible? How can his attack be so powerful? General Xian Ying collided with his opponent. His hands went numb, and the blood in his body churned. He felt as if he had collided with 100,000 mountains. It was extremely sturdy, and the force made him have the urge to vomit blood. As expected, General Xian Ying vomited blood and flew backward. Under the power of the Dragon Sword Soul, he kept retreating. General Xian Ying was injured. Heavens! How is that possible? The people in the distance were all stunned when they saw that. How powerful is that kid to be able to injure General Xian Ying? More importantly, wasn't he already on the verge of death? How can he still have such terrifying power? They would have believed it if he had injured General Xian Ying with those 3 sword moves. However, after using those 3 sword moves, he was obviously in a weakened state. He could even be killed at any time. However, in just a few minutes, he was full of energy again. He had injured General Xian Ying again. They could not believe it. At that moment, everyone looked forward, and their scalps went numb. Especially those from the Tai dynasty. They thought that General Xian Ying would be able to suppress his opponent in an instant. However, they did not expect it to be such a scene. General Xian Ying vomited blood and retreated. He stomped on the void, creating terrifying black holes one after another. He only stopped after creating 18 black holes in a row. Damn it! His face became abnormally gloomy, and even his handsome face became incomparably distorted. Damn it, how is that possible? General Xian Ying was also extremely shocked. He did not believe that his opponent could injure him in 1 move. Buzz. He stared at the ancient sword in Lin Xian's hand, and a terrifying light burst out from his eyes. He was determined to snatch this sword away from her. In the next moment, he snorted coldly and quickly formed a seal with his palms. In the sky, the blood that he spat out did not disappear. Instead, it quickly condensed. They formed 1 blood sword after another, and they charged forward. In an instant, 10 blood swords filled the air and slashed forward with a monstrous murderous aura. Looking at this scene, everyone was shocked. This method was too terrifying. The blood he spat out could even turn into a blood sword to kill people. And from the looks of it, Its power was even more terrifying than ordinary mystiques. This General Xian Ying was also an extremely terrifying figure. A single drop of blood was enough to kill an expert. Looking at the incoming blood swords, Lin Xian coldly harumphed. He waved the ancient sword in his hand, and with the power of the great dragon sword spirit, he slashed forward. He swung his sword dozens of times in a row. Those blood swords were cut in half and dissipated into the void. The Xian Ying general roared angrily. He held his halberd with both hands and charged over again. A violent aura suddenly erupted from his body and swept through the 9 heavens. The Fangtian painting collection danced like a flood dragon, bringing with it a shocking killing intent, completely drowning out the sky in front. Boom, boom. Another intense collision occurred, causing the world to rumble. This time, General Xian Ying was sent flying once again. His arm was numb and the muscles on his arm were torn. Blood spurted out once more, dyeing the halberd red. Damn it! Bloodthirsty true spirit! Kill it! General Xian Ying roared angrily. Blood stained the halberd. It didn't disappear. Instead, it used this chance to activate a powerful ability. The blood on the halberd trembled rapidly. Then, it turned into terrifying blood-colored beasts that charged out from the sky. These were blood crows, and every single one of them was like precious jade, sparkling and translucent. However, these blood crows contained an extremely terrifying killing intent. The moment they appeared, they pierced through the 9 heavens and 10 lands. Buzz! A blood crow flew out, spreading its wings and bringing with it a sea of blood. The entire sky was dyed red. Boom! The second blood crow flew out from the halberd. It brought with it a boundless killing intent, causing the entire sky to tremble. Boom! 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 The third blood crow flew out. It was surrounded by mysterious blood-colored runes that made one's heart tremble. A total of 9 blood crows flew out. They flew in circles in the sky. Then, under the control of General Xian Ying, they charged forward. Boom! 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 The 9 blood crows exploded together and flew forward. A terrifying blood-colored light filled the sky. At this moment, the sky was filled with a sea of blood. It was extremely terrifying. Collapse. However, Lin Xian roared angrily. On the Dragon Source ancient sword, the Dragon Soul Sword shadow exploded with a dazzling light. With a slash of the sword, the sky in front of him instantly collapsed. Countless cracks spread. Although the blood crows were powerful, they couldn't withstand this power at all. They instantly exploded into a bloody mist. This scene was too terrifying. General Xian Ying's ultimate move was useless in front of Lin Xian. It couldn't be helped. After sending out the Dragon Soul Sword, Lin Xian's combat strength was extremely powerful. Damn it, this was impossible! General Xian Ying roared crazily. He couldn't believe that Lin Xian could break his ultimate move so easily. However, in the next moment, his pupils constricted because Lin Xian had already charged over with the dragon-shaped sword shadow. Buzz! 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 Another 3 shocking sword chi slashed forward. Instantly, General Xian Ying was scared out of his wits. This was because when Lin Xian used this sword technique previously, he instantly killed the Teng family's living fossil and Hong Xinyang. Now that Lin Xian was using a similar move, how could he not be afraid? To be honest, the power of these 3 sword chi was about the same as the power of the Dragon Abyss ancient sword when the 3 seals were broken. It wasn't that the Dragon Soul Sword wasn't strong, but that Lin Xian could only use this power now. This was because the Dragon Soul Sword was vast and boundless like a bottomless pit. It could unleash as much power as one poured in. With Lin Xian's current strength, he could only unleash this level of combat strength. No matter how strong he was, the spiritual power in his body wouldn't be enough. However, these 3 sword chi were enough. One sword slashed the sky piercer away, while the other sword shattered more than 10 layers of defense. Boom! General Xian Ying's armor was shattered and a terrifying sword mark appeared, almost splitting him apart. This was only the damage caused by the aftermath of the sword qi. If the third sword slashed down, it would definitely kill him. Brother Wuhan, save me. Looking at the third sword qi descending from the sky, General Xian Ying roared crazily. Deep fear appeared in his eyes. He knew that he couldn't dodge this sword qi at all, nor could he resist it. He could only cry for help. His miserable voice spread and shook the surroundings. Hearing this, the surrounding people were shocked. What? Could it be that there's a peerless powerhouse here? Otherwise, why would General Xian Ying beg for help? One had to know that the strongest person present was General Xian Ying. Previously, the living fossil and Hong Xinyang had been killed, leaving only General Xian Ying. The rest of the people were not stronger than the general. Chapter 2357. Even Lin Xian furrowed his brows. On the other side, the dark red divine dragon had killed 8 peerless experts and retreated to the side. He did not attack again because he felt that this matter was very strange. Could it be that the other party wanted to confuse them? He could not understand. However, the sword qi was about to slash down and kill General Xian Ying. At this moment, a cold snort suddenly came from a spirit boat in the distance. Then, a golden ray of light flew over from afar like a bolt of lightning. That golden light quickly appeared in front of General Xian Ying. Then, it transformed into an imperial gold cauldron and blocked the shocking sword light. The two collided and emitted a resplendent light. What? It was blocked. How was that possible? When the surrounding people saw this scene, they all went crazy. Someone actually blocked such a terrifying sword qi. Who was it? General Xian Ying nodded and retreated into the expert hiding here. It seemed that everyone wanted to leave the battlefield. When Lin Xian saw the scene, because the sword qi that even General Xian Ying could not block was easily blocked by the other party. He slashed out with his sword. The other party's strength definitely surpassed General Xian Ying's. The sky like a rain of swords. Thinking of this, a large portion of it charged towards General Xian Ying. Cheered, courting death. Lin Xian and the dark red divine dragon frowned. The valiant man also snorted coldly. Moreover, he raised his large hand and slapped out. It was like a river of stars that filled the sky. He only transformed into an aura and blocked the sword in front of the dragon sword. The valiant man said in a deep voice. It really shocked his voice filled with killing intent. Get out here. In the distance, on the other side, General Shen, the dark red divine dragon, also roared. You're overestimating yourself. He opened his mouth and spat out balls of dragon flame. He's an expert from the golden cauldron. The golden lion king's uncle. The golden cauldron burned fiercely, your dead meat, but it did not melt. The other party is actually an expert from the war resplendent. Heavens, in the next moment, tribe really come out? Thousands of rays of light erupted from the cauldron. The other party piercing is so through strong. The dragon flames. It's the legendary war tribe. General Shen also could be heard. This opportunity to everyone retreat far away. The dark red divine dragon also sucked in a breath of cold air. His eyes were cold. He didn't expect an expert from the war tribe to come. Do you think that a mysterious expert will be able to save you? True supreme expert. Lin Xian snorted coldly. Lin Xian's expression was sword again and walked forward. So it's someone from the war tribe. Soul erupted. No wonder the other party's ability looked familiar. Surged out. He didn't expect that the war tribe General Shen Ying's expression changed again. They sent out such a terrifying expert. Coldly. The other party was much stronger than the golden lion king. He wouldn't just watch him get killed. There was no choice. Sure enough, the golden lion in the next moment, from the younger generation, of golden light, it could be said that he was very young in the distance. The person in front of him was probably a true supreme expert who had lived for hundreds or thousands of years. Appeared on the golden continent, such an expert from the war tribe was definitely terrifying and unfathomable. But every step he took seemed to shrink the ground into an inch, instantly appearing in front of him. That's right. In just 2 or 3 steps, he arrived near General Shen Ying from tens of thousands of miles away. Boom. He deserved to die. He raised his hand and clenched his fist. Everyone was shocked. His fists transformed into 2 black suns and smashed onto the sword tribe, actually producing a clanging sound. The surrounding people were also disappeared into the sky at the same time. Is this kid crazy? He actually dares to say such words in front of an expert from the war tribe? Countless pairs of eyes looked at trying to anger the other party. The dark red divine dragon also frowned. And Lin Xian's pupils shrank. He coveted my treasures and wanted to take them for himself. By the other party, a genius from the war tribe actually dares to do such a thing. Doesn't he was wearing battle armor and looked very valiant. The golden lion king was killed because of this, and his powerful aura suppressed everything. They didn't expect there to be such a reason. Was even distorted. Fancy your treasures, forming a strange arc. And you killed him? Thank you. When John Wuhan heard this, his body trembled. Shen looked at the other party with killing intent surged out from his body. Go and rest at the side. Then his voice became sinister. The valiant man said in a deep voice. If a genius from the war tribe wants a treasure, you have to obediently kneel down and give it to him. You actually dared to kill him? Your sin is unforgivable. I will capture you and make you kneel in front of his grave for 700 years. Every day, you will have to endure the punishment of the war tribe. Kneel down obediently? Hand it over with both hands? After Lin Xian heard this, he sneered. Your war tribe is really arrogant. Do you really think that your war tribe is invincible? Lin Xian was indeed incomparably furious. He originally thought that the Golden Lion King was overbearing and arrogant enough. He didn't expect that compared to the middle-aged man in front of him, the Golden Lion King paled in comparison. Chapter 2358. They originally thought that the Golden Lion King was already domineering and arrogant enough. Unexpectedly, compared to this middle-aged man in front of them, the Golden Lion King paled in comparison. Were all these people from the war race so unreasonable? The dark red divine dragon also screamed. Fuck, how can you say such shameless words? Are you sure you're not smearing the war race's reputation? To be honest, the dark red divine dragon had never seen such a shameless person. You're too shameless. You don't know what kind of existence our war race is. Back then, when our war race was at its peak, the world was respected. It was everyone's wish to be able to give us treasures. At that time, those who came to give us treasures could line up tens of thousands of miles away. His soul burned. How can an ant like you understand the strength of our war race? Brother Wu Hen, is that so? Save me. Lin General Xian Ying rolled crazily in the sky. Your war race was only powerful in the past, but the pain made everyone's hair stand on end. The times are changing, and you've already been eliminated. Soul attack? Lin Xian's voice was coldly and used his divine ability to save General Xian. Hearing this, but he realized that he could not do it at all. Retreated. This made his face extremely gloomy. When Zhang Wuhen heard this, "Save me," he immediately became angry. Screamed again. He was like a demon, emitting monstrous killing intent. His body floated in the void, instantly shattering the surrounding void. This was because he actually dared to look down on his war race. He couldn't tolerate it. General Xian was also the other party. The people from the Tai dynasty felt their scalps go numb. General Xian was the empress to destroy the entire world. If he died like this, attack was how would they explain it when they returned? Endless light flickered. The empress would probably go crazy, and the dark red divine dragon's expressions instantly daring to imagine. They discovered that the other party was very strong, General Xian Ying's unexpectedly strong. What a terrifying even before the fist secret technique. Just the storm alone was enough to make their hair stand on end. He took out a jade pendant and protected his body. He had to admit that the other party's soul power attack the war race's terrifying on the spirit ship in the powerful ability. A young man in white also frowned. The power was unimaginable. Then he pinched his fingers and calculated hurriedly, and a look of shock appeared in his eyes. Kid, in the next moment he turned around and left without saying anything. Don't worry, I still have a trump card. A painful price if the two of us join hands, we might be able to kill him again. Even if we can't kill him, like bolts we have to seriously injure him. It was very dazzling. At least let him know that the war race wasn't an invincible existence. The war race's quickly could not only be good at the same time, he rapidly dodged and didn't resist at all. Although he was mocking the other party, drew a streak of light in the sky, instantly pushing him the Dragon Source ancient sword, and he was overestimating himself with all his strength. He actually dared to fight against the war and erupted with a terrifying sword light that slashed forward. Behind him, General Xian Ying sneered. Zhang Wuhen the other party was able to kill the Golden Lion King because the Golden Lion King was more than a meter tall, and was very in front of him was a true war race expert. It collapsed the void. How could the other party contend? It was very old, such a person, and some parts were even covered in dust. As soon as he sneered, it seemed that it had existed for countless years. His entire being became incomparably crazy. The red cauldron was emitting light, was because an indescribable power was surging toward him. It was a phoenix that was born from fire. Severely injured. It was as if a real divine beast was bound to the cauldron. Save me! The moment the cauldron appeared, it brought with it a monstrous heat wave that seemed to be able to burn everything. Looking at the incoming sword strength to attack others while he was fighting with his palm. Was he looking down on him? Instantly, the cauldron roared angrily and destroyed four of them. To come alive. The terrifying chi waves enveloped an area of 100,000 miles, and forcing Lin Xian and the dark red divine dragon to retreat frantically. Flickered on its body, one down, and it was extremely sharp. Stepped back and sneered. It was as if a real divine beast when he was dodging just terrifying sword. He had directly used the secret soul-burning technique to forcefully attack General Xian Ying. General Xian Ying also had a soul defense artifact, but he did not expect Lin Xian to attack him while fighting with the war race expert. In a moment of carelessness, he was hit by the secret soul-burning technique. The two collided, and the sky collapsed and the earth cracked. Dazzling light covered the entire sky. Flames were everywhere, and sword chi filled the sky. The two collided intensely and then dissipated in the sky at the same time. What? That kid actually blocked the attack of the war race's expert. Heavens! How did he do it? Everyone exclaimed when they saw this scene. The war race's expert was a legendary existence. He was like a god of war. A young man was actually able to block it. This shocked them greatly. Zhang Wuhan also frowned. He had to admit that the other party was very strong, far beyond his expectations. Chapter 2359. Lin Xian blocked the attack, but he wasn't happy. He had used his full strength, and he had used the Great Dragon Sword Soul. He couldn't use this kind of power for long. He didn't have much spiritual power left. Even if he recovered quickly, he couldn't afford the crazy absorption of the Great Dragon Sword Soul. His opponent had already seen the heavenly secret god eyes, and he had used a defensive artifact. His sneak attack wouldn't succeed. Apart from that, there was the dragon-shaped sword Shadow and the 3 seals of the ancient dragon Abyss sword. These 2 attacks should be able to injure his opponent. Dark Red Dragon, prepare to attack and use your strongest killing move. Boom. Lin Xian sent a voice transmission to he was blasted away by the energy. The black earth. Fortunately, Little White he summoned the dragon sword realm at the critical moment and blocked a lot of it. White Marquis nodded and waited for an opportunity. Him swung its tail and carried Lin Xian out tens of thousands of miles away and rushed over. The surrounding martial artist to Zhang Wuhan, so lucky. The golden light in his eyes appeared and screamed, floating light. Before they could fly back, Zhang Wuhan activated the red furnace, into blood and the terrifying phoenix only a few shattered the surrounding sword chi. Those spiritual boats, a layer of ripples appeared on his body, and the terrifying demon kings were all destroyed. Another soul attack. This attack could be said to have killed most of the warriors. This is a treasure passed down from ancient times. 1,000 of them were left alive. Your soul power can't penetrate it. They were looking forward if not for the incident with General Could the war tribe's expert survive after being hit by such a terrifying energy attack might have succeeded. They didn't dare to imagine. But after that incident, tens of thousands of miles away, Lin carefully protected his soul. Divine Dragon, therefore he wasn't afraid of his opponent's soul attack at all. Lin Xian swallowed another treasure. But in the next moment he made a sound. This time, because he could only recover half of his strength. There was no other way. Much weaker. Using the Dragon Source ancient sword, this made him even more shocked. Caused the burden on his body to reach an extreme. Pendant was an ancient jade. No matter how many treasures he had, he couldn't recover to his peak state. Could still reach him. Lin Xian's eyes surprised him. The dragon-shaped sword attack was this. The Dragon Source ancient swords 3 seals. But in the next moment, and the dark red divine dragon activated his defensive jade pendant. Thinking about it, at the same time, his soul power surged out after waiting for a long time. The violent energy of the battle gradually disappeared. His soul power was very strong. Everyone's hearts were in their mouths. So he defended and attacked because the final result was finally about to be revealed. He dispelled the illusion brought by floating light. The sky disappeared. Although the illusion failed, the armor on his body was shattered, and his hair was disheveled. Because his true attack was not floating light. At this moment, he was in an abnormally sorry state. There were many wounds on his body, roared, and his body was on the verge of collapse. Dashed out. However, in an instant, he was right in front of Zhang Wuhan. Seeing this furry little paw, the cultivators heaved a sigh of relief. However, Zhang Wuhan felt dizzy, and the dark red divine dragon was in trouble. He couldn't react in time. That Zhang Wuhan didn't die after such a violent attack, and it disappeared instantly. One had to know that apart from the Black Earth and the Sage's and the dark red divine dragon made their move. This was already the strongest power they could use. Roared. Even he held the ancient dragon abyss sword in his right hand, and it had to be said that the war tribe's experts were by the great dragon sword soul with his left hand. How dare you injure me? Then, I want you dead. Slashed forward. Zhang Wuhan raised his head, of the ancient dragon abyss sword was released, and its power increased dramatically, causing Lin Xian's right arm to be severed. If he wasn't a war tribe expert and didn't have a treasure that could defend him, he would have died. He gritted his teeth just now would have taken his life. The dragon-shaped sword shadow in his left hand exploded with a dazzling light. He roared at the sky, turned into a real dragon and pill the size of a longan. On the other side, the dark red divine dragon also roared. Endless dragon blood auras surged from its body. It cooperated with the Earth's spiritual energy and created 18 dragon blood shadows. It charged forward. At the same time, behind him, endless light gathered and turned into a long red saber. It slashed down from the sky. The two of them attacked with their 4 ultimate moves. Boom, 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 boom. Everything in front of them was annihilated in an instant. Immediately, his body emitted crackling sounds. His damaged body and broken bones quickly healed. His originally heavily injured body recovered again, and he was heading towards his peak. What kind of pill was that? It was too heaven-defying. Everyone was shocked. Chapter 2360. Damn it, if the other party recovered to his peak, they would not be able to fight him at all. Therefore, he would not allow such a thing to happen. The next moment, Lin Xian summoned the Black Earth and used its powerful attack power to kill the other party. At most, he would just have to waste some resources. You can only blame yourself for being more in the future. How dare you provoke the Black Earth appeared, exuding an you can die aura. Obediently. Lin Xian and the Dark Red Dragon were about to enter above his head. However, and the crazy beast suddenly raised his hand. The void instantly collapsed as if there was a great and rushed forward. A terrifying wave of flame swept out in all directions. And earth, the seal of the five elements, kept retreating. 5 types of energy rotated in the sky. Sword energy exuding out from his body, aura, forming and sealing the Black Earth in the sky. However, he was still forced back. Lin Xian and the Dark Red Dragon were bounced back. Half of his usual strength. Lin Xian was shocked. Lin Xian spat out another mouthful of blood. The Black Earth was sealed. He wiped the corner of his mouth and gritted his teeth. The Dark Red Divine Dragon was also hopping mad. Use the Black Earth as a shield in front of me. I don't believe that guy can withstand the other party to be even faster. I'll set up the formation now. Moreover, the Dark Red Divine Dragon that this was a terrifying seal of the 5 elements. He was also very displeased by the other party's arrogance. To break it in a short time. However, the other party was too powerful. The Dark Red Dragon roared. Only the Saint's hand-bone could deal with him. The Black Earth did not react at all. In the next moment, damn it, Lin Xian took out the Saint's hand-bone without holding back. Stomped its feet. It was a very small bone that floated in the sky. On the other side, the aura it emitted was too terrifying. Kid, it was even more terrifying than Zhang Wuhen's aura. Everything you did in General Xianying's residence has felt their scalps go numb. Their faces were filled with our trump cards. This brat actually has such a terrifying treasure. This was not good news. They were really shocked. Said that it was terrible. If the brat used this treasure to deal with them, like it was fake. None of them would be able to escape. The other party would not have sealed the Black Earth down as soon as they used it. Heavens, obviously, what kind of existence the other party knew the power of the Black Earth? The Ting family and the people from the governor's residence had the general's residence. The people from the Tai dynasty also had grave expressions. He had destroyed the general's residence, although they knew that the other party had a heaven-defying treasure. They had never seen it before. Those warriors must have told the other party with their own eyes of the battle. It was indeed very shocking. His trump card was exposed. The Saint's item. In that case, the Saint's hand felt a great amount of pressure as well. However, it was fortunate that the Snow White was indeed getting the other party off guard. Then, the corners of his mouth, it would have been difficult for him to injure the other party. He had to admit that the other party was not only powerful, but also had too many treasures in his hands. The Black Earth had been sealed, so it was unlikely that they would be able to break it in a short period of time. All top-grade treasures. The only thing that could be used because he did not know about the great dragon sword soul and the heavenly secret divine eyes. Seemed to have a way to deal with it. If he had discovered the great dragon sword soul and the heavenly secret divine eyes like the golden Lion King, he would probably go crazy and over. Boom. Murderous intent surged from his body. Seal on the Saint's hand-bone. Immediately, the terrifying aura of the Saint swept through the 9 dragon as if it could suppress everything in the world. How old is he? Lin Xian and the Dark-Red Divine Dragon instantly pulled away from each other. How could he have the cheek to say such words? Lin Xian summoned the Black Earth again to block in front of him and defend. If we're at the same level, it could not be helped. I'll kill you like a dog. The pressure of the Saint in your battle clan's younger generation. No one is my match. So what? Only geniuses who grow up are geniuses. Dead geniuses are nothing. Zhang Wuhen was completely unmoved. He admitted that the other party was indeed a genius, and he was even more terrifying than the battle clan's geniuses. However, he would not allow such a person to grow up, especially when the other party was the battle clan's enemy. If he allowed the other party to leave, then in a few hundred or 1,000 years, the other party would definitely become an invincible king. He would not invite such a powerful enemy for his family. Therefore, he had to kill the other party today. In addition to the Black Earth, he also used the Dragon Sword realm. The great Dragon Sword soul let out a loud dragon roar to resist the terrifying pressure. Lin Xian temporarily blocked the pressure of the Saint. His eyes flickered. However, the people around him were not so lucky. Hundreds of cultivators were instantly crushed by the pressure of the Saint. They turned into a bloody mist that filled the sky. The remaining people also vomited large mouthfuls of blood. Their faces were filled with fear as they quickly fled. It could not be helped. They could not resist the pressure of the saint at all. Buzz! Chapter 2361. On the other side, Zhang Wuhan also felt a great pressure. The flaming phoenix above his head instantly cracked, and it struggled on the ground. Then, it collapsed and turned into countless flames that scattered in all directions. The fiery red cauldron was also trembling non-stop, as if it was about to worship. Zhang Wuhan's expression was ferocious. Was this the pressure of a sage? It was indeed powerful. As expected, it was good stuff. Kid, I have to say that you have a lot of treasures in your hands. I'm going to take this sage's bone. Hearing Zhang Wuhan's voice, Lin Xian snorted coldly. Are you people from the battle tribe poor? Why do you want other people's things? The dark red dragon also spat. Shameless. Zhang Wuhan's face darkened. You sharp-tongued kid. When I catch you later, I'll knock your teeth out one by one. And you stinky loach. Zhang Wuhan retreated. I'll skin you and make you into a pair of battle boots later. Lin Xian and the dark red divine dragon were sent flying, you to death, vomiting blood again. The dark red dragon gritted its teeth in anger. Zhang Wuhan sneered. The other party was really asking for a beating. But you can't outlast me. Zhang Wuhan snorted I have the invincible and did not say anything. What do you have? In the next moment, in a few more times, shone brightly. I won't even have to do anything. A golden armor appeared and covered his body. The golden armor was too valiant. It shone brightly and shot into the sky. Not only that, but mysterious patterns floated on it, emitting a terrifying aura. Fuck, an invincible 2365. Damn it, this guy actually has such a thing. When the golden armor appeared, the dark red dragon swung its tail, and its expression became extremely ugly. Before it could fly, was an invincible to the ground with a thud. Lin Xian also frowned. My injuries are too serious. It seemed to be related to invincible kings. The little white monkey also lowered its head and laid it on Lin Xian's shoulder, unwilling to move. It was the armor worn by invincible kings. Let's recover first. He did not expect this guy to have remaining pills and swallowed that the other party was now that the Black Earth had been sealed. He didn't have many pills and treasures left in his possession. It was just an invincible king. Most of them were inside the Black Earth. It was slightly weaker. He could not take them now. He should not be able to use the longevity art to swallow the remaining pills and absorb the surrounding armor of an invincible king. However, his injuries were too serious. Armor, and it even had the consciousness of an invincible pills of the battle. It was very terrifying. Therefore, although the sage's hand bone stood up, pulled out a long golden saber and walked over. In the past, although he walked unsteadily, so the killing intent on his body became more and more intense. Even if that guy had an invincible armor, however, he would not be able to block it. An explosion suddenly came from the sky. Lin Xian and the dark red dragon discussed quickly descended from the sky. The two of them looked ahead. Someone's coming. Ahead of them. Seeing this, Zhang Wuhan put on the invincible battle suit in his tracks, and his body shone brightly. His eyes were cold as he looked in front of him in shock. Immediately weakened significantly. Direction's ancient mirror in his hand. He could rely on his own strength to resist body quickly. In the next moment, he walked forward with his pulsing steps. He was seriously injured now. He might not even be able to defeat an almighty. At the same time, if the other party killed him and took his treasures, he would suffer a great loss. 5 balls of energy were spinning, and the dark red dragon, representing the 5 elements of metal, they were in the same state. Water, fire, the light in the sky quickly pressed down. It was the 5 elements seal from before. It was also a spirit boat. From the looks of it, there were a few figures standing on it with cold expressions. Take it for himself. There were quite a few of them. Halfway through, this scene made Zhang Wuhan and Lin Xian tore open some more seals. The spirit boat floated in the air. The aura of a sage glanced at Zhang Wuhan. Once this aura appeared, and the dark red dragon, in the distance vomited blood again. They stared at the Black Earth. Zhang Wuhan had no choice but to stop. Among them, an elder walked out. The energy in his body poured into the invincible armor, floated in the air, dazzling light that enveloped him. Damn it, what's going on? Wuhan reached out a hand and they grabbed in front of the Black Earth. The 5 elemental seal moved together. The dark red divine dragon was enraged. Heaven and earth trembled. Lin Xian's face also shattered, and on the other side, bone was completely enveloped. This was because he had already treated the Black Earth as his spoils of war. However, the sage's hand bone wanted to interfere. This was something the danger of being sealed. For a moment, all 3 of them looked up at the sky. However, the old man in the sky snorted coldly. He actually dared to seal it. He was really courting death. As he spoke, the old man's 5 fingers formed a claw and grabbed forward. Instantly, the 5 element seal was crushed. What? So powerful. Seeing this, the Crimson Divine Dragon, Lin Xian, and Zhang Wuhan were shocked. They didn't act rashly because the other party was able to break the 5 element seal with a single grab. This was indeed beyond their expectations. This was especially so for the dark red divine dragon and Zhang Wuhan. The two of them knew very well how terrifying the 5 element seal was. Who exactly was the other party? Once the 5 element seal was broken, He Tu's voice could be heard. "Kid, are you alright?" At the same time, a figure flew out. The person who came out was naturally Xia Xingchen. However, when the old man saw Xia Xingchen, he was also excited. "Young lady, I've finally found you. Why are you guys here?" Xia Xingchen looked at the old man and the people on the spirit boat behind him and said casually, "Don't worry." Her big eyes narrowed into crescents. ***, they actually know each other. Seeing this, Zhang Wuhan's face darkened and he took a few steps back. Lin Xian and the Crimson Divine Dragon heaved a sigh of relief. They could tell that these people were here to look for Xia Xingchen. Thinking of this, they smiled. "That's great. Young lady, where did you run off to?" the old man asked worriedly. A few youths also walked out of the spirit boat behind them. They stared at Lin Xian and the Crimson Divine Dragon and said coldly, "Is it these 2 kids? How dare you capture our young lady? You're dead meat." With that said, their bodies emitted a biting cold killing intent. "No, it's not." Xia Xingchen said, "Stop it, it's not them. I was captured by a few big baddies, and Big Brother Lin saved me." "That kid saved you? Then how did you get sealed?" The few of them frowned. That was because the spirit boat from before had a powerful seal placed on it. Even ordinary almighties would not be able to open it. It was all because of that baddie. Xia Xingchen pointed at Zhang Wuhan and said, "This guy is a baddie. He's the one who sealed the spirit boat." Hearing this, the old man and the youths behind him looked away from Lin Xian and stared at Zhang Wuhan. Soon, their pupils constricted. Invincible armor. The youth's eyes burned with passion, but the old man frowned. For you. Zhang Wuhan snorted, and the invincible armor on his body shone brightly. At the same time, the 6 harmonies mirror floated above his head, emitting a sage's aura. Feeling this aura, the youths and the old man all frowned. Damn it, hurry up and protect Miss. They shielded Xia Xingchen behind them. However, at this moment, another figure walked out of the spirit boat. This was an old man with a head full of white hair and beard. He was leaning on a walking stick. He didn't have a terrifying aura, just like an ordinary grandpa next door. However, the moment he came out, the pressure of the sage's aura disappeared instantly. Grandpa, you're here too. Seeing this old man, Xia Xingchen flew over happily. You little girl, you always make people worry. The old man rubbed Xia Xingchen's head lovingly. Then he waved his sleeve, and countless runes flashed, completely sealing the sage's hand bone that was still floating in the air. What? Seeing this, Lin Xian and the dark red dragon god were shocked. As for Zhang Wuhan, his pupils constricted. Heavens, who is this person? He sealed the sage's hand bone with a raise of his hand. Needless to say, the other party must have surpassed an almighty and might even be an invincible king. Thinking of this, Zhang Wuhan tensed up as if he was facing a great enemy. However, the old man looked at him and said calmly, "People of the battle tribe, you finally can't hold it in anymore and want to come out? You know my identity." Zhang Wuhan's eyelids twitched because the old man in front of him was too mysterious. However, in the next moment he gritted his teeth and said, "Since you know my identity, there are some things you shouldn't care about. You can take your granddaughter away. I won't care about you. However, this kid has to stay. He killed an almighty prodigy of the battle tribe. I won't let him go." "What?